Hey guys, welcome back to the IPSL round of eight, match number one. We've got Dragon versus eOnzErG joining me today in the caster booth, none other than RZ Tahaki. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing good, John. How are you doing today, man?
Yeah, can't complain, can't complain. Looking forward to some good PVZs.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get that. eOnzErG, obviously, super strong Zerg player. Dragon, I, I never know how players themselves feel about their own matchups. You know how
Right.
it's funny. It's like when you watch players, you get the impression, oh, they're good at this, they're good at that, and without even looking at the numbers, right? But they'll usually tell you you're wrong. But for me, just from what I've seen of Dragon, I feel the most comfortable watching his PvZ. I think he used to even play ZVP as
Yes,
well.
he
Yeah, so
did.
he's got a pretty good understanding, I think, of both sides of this matchup.
Yeah, not only did he used to play ZVP, but he used to off race ZVP to help his friends practice even after he switched completely to Protoss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he kind of knows this matchup inside and out. I would even go so far as to say he's a PVZ specialist, but Eon's he's a different kind of caliber, seriously talented Zerg individual. It's not going to
Oh
be
yeah.
easy for Dragon in this series. Definitely kind of looking at him as a bit of an underdog in that regard.
Yeah, Eon, he's been looking super strong. And he looked pretty good in BSL as well. I think he took one game off of the wall, which I know doesn't sound great, but taking a game off
That
the wall
is
is
good.
actually pretty good. Yeah.
It's literally the best Protoss outside of Korea. It's pretty damn good. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he had a hard time against Zhao Shui, but let's be honest, Zhao Shui is like almost pro gamer level, like able to like beat people like sharp on the ladder and stuff. Like
Yeah.
Zhao Shui is crazy good.
Yeah, I do want to apologize to you guys. I do have this literal sun right above my head. I can't do anything about it right now, but yeah, I just want you to know that I'm aware there's a gigantic glare.
You're
Um,
looking like a holy man today, Ozzy.
yeah, yeah. I wanted to say too, there was actually before I knew Dragon, like I didn't know Dragon at all. Um,
Mm,
I was when I was still playing Protoss, I was playing against who I thought was Dragon because he was literally using the Dragon Nos name, right?
right.
Um, and he was being like overly like talkative, right, while we were playing, and he was playing Zerg, and I was like, man, I know he used to play like ZVP, but he was like smashing me. I was like, yo, this guy is like super good, and I didn't know Dragon like was such a talkative, like a lot of personality kind of guy. And
Oh.
after about 6 games, I realized it was Crawlsy playing on Dragon's name, just destroying me over and over again, and I was like getting kind of depressed. I was like, man, this feels bad.
Oh, that's rough, man. I believe that eOnzErG beat Dragon in BSL recently as well,
Mhm.
3-0. So historically speaking, the record's not been great for Dragon. He did take a game off of eOnzErG like way back when in BSL 9, but
Mhm.
besides that, eOnzErG's basically got a clean sheet against him.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been definitely pretty Eon favored. But I mean, to be fair, pretty much everything's been Eon favored outside of like
Yeah.
Bonnet and DeWalt here recently. So he's just that good. I mean, he's such a strong player, such a good player. I've seen him laddering quite a bit actually here recently as well, and I've seen him holding like 2400 plus quite often, or at least bouncing it around there. So yeah, super strong player.
Yeah, 2400 is nothing to sneeze at. Like, it's one thing getting S rank, but 2400 is a
Mhm.
different kettle of fish entirely. It's so damn hard. You get so many like pro and semi pro smurfs at that level. Like, trying
Yeah.
to get beyond that is almost impossible unless you're a godlike gamer yourself.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny because I know we've talked about this before about how there's like levels to this, right? Where it's like us here in like low A, high B, that kind of thing. We play against these like 2300, like Bonnet and DeWalt and stuff like that, and it's just like,
No.
man, we feel like these are like gods among men, right? And then there's that breaking point where it's like they start hitting the pros, and then they're also like, we're down here stuck at 2400, we're hitting these gods among men, like they feel the same way, right?
Yeah, and then there's even tiers between the pros, right? You got like four different tiers
Yeah,
of pros, and you've got like players like Flash that are even like one step removed from them. It's so crazy how, yeah, I think I would describe it as like infinite skill ceiling in infinite directions. That's how complicated Brutal is.
yeah, and that is one of the things that I absolutely love about this game is that infinite skill ceiling, right? Like you can look at the best in the world, and if you looked at it like bit by bit, you could pick 1,000 things apart that they did wrong, and it's
Yeah.
just not possible to play a perfect game of Brood War, and that's what I love about
Uh,
this game.
I mean, literally from the first second of the game, you're already not doing a perfect split, right? Like
Sure.
it's just so damn hard to execute at the highest of levels.
Yep.
First map's going to be Silphid between these guys. Not a bad map for Protoss. You know, the only thing you need to worry about is the wall-in's a little bit tricky. You got slightly bigger holes to worry about. You got the one gap between the buildings, and you've also got like an extra wide gap on the side. So Ling run-bys and all-in Lings can be a little bit challenging to hold. But if you do get beyond that stage of the game, I think it's a pretty good map for Protoss.
I agree. Yeah, I think there is some early stage stuff that you do have to be careful of. Like you kind of said, the wall especially, I feel like it gets really tight against some hydro pressure and stuff like that. But yeah, I think once you navigate out of the early game, typically 3-player maps, I feel like are pretty good for Protoss and PvZ, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, should be good. Should be good as long as we get out of the early game. And eOnzErG, as we all know, I talk about it every single time we cast this guy. He is a very aggressive player. So yeah, if DragOn can navigate that early game and get into this mid game at a pretty decent game state, then I actually would maybe I would say I start to favor DragOn, but Eon can also play macro very, very well.
True, true. Yeah, he's kind of scary. He can kind of do it all. But looks like we're ready to jump right into the action, guys. The IPSL round of 8, DragOn versus eOnzErG on Silphid. Let's get it.
Okay, and spawning here at the 12 o'clock spawn, our white Zerg. We have eOnzErG from, I get it wrong all the time. Is it Belgium?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
And down here in the bottom right, rocking that magenta color on Protoss from Canada, DragOn.
All right.
So I'm of the opinion that this is like a better map to go Forge Fast Expand on. I just think it's like a little bit more simple of an early game navigation for the Protoss. You kind of want to batten down the hatches against the Zerg, especially if you know they're more aggressively inclined. But I have seen a few gateway expands here.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, right? Because you know Eon has that kind of he's known for being hyper aggressive and stuff. It does kind of like your knee jerk reaction is you want to go Forge against players like that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say at least for this map too, one thing that does kind of suck about it is you can't really cannon rush very easily.
Right.
Because
yeah, with the minerals pressed up against the cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay.
That being said, with the pylon scout, I imagine we're going to be seeing that Forge come down, like you called.
Yeah, I would say so. Although we did kind of have a bit of a meta shift where players started to do kind of like a pylon scout, even with gateway expand, just to throw off the Zerg, so they can't just read your build based on the scout timing. So like theoretically, you could still go for a gateway expand, but in this case, it does look like it's just going to be a 12.5 Forge.
Interesting. Is this I always had a hard time walling in this spawn specifically because it's got that weird kind of angle. I remember having issues very similar to like retro, right, with the weird angles on the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
That Forge placement, I guess to me it feels wrong, but I guess the plan is the gateway's going in the top right corner there.
I think so. I would imagine. And then you can like tuck a cannon between the pylon and the Forge, and you've also got plenty of space for back row of cannons.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Very interesting start to the wall here. I don't think I've seen it done this way personally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's more ways than one to do it, but if you were to talk to the pros, they'd probably tell you like this is the way you want to do it and no other way. But I mean, everything probably has some level of viability.
Yeah, it's interesting because basically what this does is that Forge is like hyper protected, and that gateway is unbelievably exposed.
You're not wrong, yeah. Just some slow hydras will rock up to that and end it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like a pretty standard play here from eOnzErG. Just an overpull into triple hatchery. Let's see if he can catch this probe scout and kill it off in time to pull off a hydra bust. You kind of want to throw that hydra den down around about 3 minutes 30, which is coming up here. So the fact that he's not made 4 lings to kill the probe kind of makes me think he's not going for a hydra bust, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Did make an extra pair of lings now, at least. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, the lair didn't start, so it's starting to look more and more. I guess we did link speed. That was link speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started link speed.
Yeah. And sometimes you can go link speed into Hydra Bust, and that's really good against players that place the cannons up against the wall, because then you don't even need that many Hydras to actually bust. You just use like, you know, half a control group worth to like, you know, pick off the first 2 cannons, and masses of speedlings deal with the rest.
It wasn't link speed, it was lair in the natural. That's what it was.
Okay. What?
Okay. And I think DragOn saw the lair too, so he knows exactly what he's up against. So that was pretty good scouting overall for him. Gonna get full information. Extremely unlikely that you're playing against a Hydra to know. You do have to be careful at B rank. They will cancel the lair and drop a Hydra in.
And also he could still do like a 4-hatch Hydra timing with Overlord speed as well from this position. So still want to be somewhat aware of the Hydra potential, but it won't be as crazy early timing as it could be.
That is true. There are, and I've seen Eon go for drop play, and on this map, it actually can be pretty good too. You can do like a Hydra drop rush type thing off of this potentially, but we are going to see that Spire. So we're not going to see anything like super weird or crazy. It's going to be, at least for the opening here, pretty standard on both boards.
What's cute is you can also do a fake Overlord drop where like you send your Overlords like into the main. They like pull the Zealots back from the front, and you just Hydra bust the front as well.
Yeah, that reminds me of kind of while we're waiting for this early game to get navigated a little bit. There was Jimin and Nomad were playing a bunch together, and Jimin ended up on like,
do that.
Yeah, he ended up on like a 13-game win streak or something against Nomad. And there was one game he did a drop and killed him, and then the next game he sent in the Overlords, and then he like showed all the Overlords, and then Nomad started like preparing for it. And then, of course, there was no drop. He just came in the front with a bunch, and he had made a bunch of cannons in his main and everything. And then Jimin hit him with the closer you look, the less you see. And he kept saying this to him over and over again.
Yeah, the more you understand what I'm doing, the more I'm going to mess with you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I love mind games like that. And I feel like Zerg and ZVP specifically has so many options that they're actually kind of the perfect matchup for that kind of mind gaming.
Yeah. I think there was a time where Zergs were shying away from that kind of way of thinking, but in recent years they've kind of embraced it more and more, and they realize just how strong the race is. Obviously, you still need really high-level execution to pull it off, but if you can have the execution, the units are so overpowered. It just requires you to understand how to best utilize them at each junction of the game.
Yeah. All right, so this wasn't on an early second gas from eOnzErG, so we're going to look at probably either just Scourge. It looks like it is just going to be Scourge, so we're not going to get that to 4 or 5 meter. I guess 5 meter is what it usually is. And DragOn going to get one Overlord pick and come back home. Doesn't end up scouting around the main or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, he sees a Scourge here, so already knows. Oh, nice Zealot pick there for eOnzErG. And good Zergs are so frustrating to move out against because of this. They will constantly hound your Zealots and make you have to turn around over and over and over again. And what ends up happening is, you don't look, you get a Zealot picked off, you're wasting so much time, and by the time you're like this far across the map, it's taken so long. It's like, okay, well, I feel like I need to go home because I've been out here forever now.
And it does look like DragOn is starting to feel that way. He's not committing right away to moving out. He's actually waiting for more Zealots. So he had 6, got 1 picked off, and then he waited for another 2 to show up to get 7 to now move out again. But obviously, eOnzErG probably going to be a lot more set up back at home to deal with this. It's going to have a Hydra wall on the ramp. Really hard for Zealots to punish this. But if you have a crazy amount of Zealots, maybe you can still get up here. But the Zerg can always just drone drill the ramp as well, so you never feel like you can commit up a ramp like that.
Yeah, their Zealot legs do finally finish. He did pick up 1 Scourge, going to run away with these Corsair, but these Zealots going to try to trade as best as they can against these Hydras. I imagine we're going to start the run here. Yeah, it does pick off a couple units. Surprisingly, a lack of Zealots have died here, but they've got to be very low. They've been hit so many times, and we actually lost a Corsair there. It wasn't looking, unfortunately, for DragOn. It was starting to look really good because it's like, okay, you get to clear these Scourge, and you get to go back and kind of free roam, but yeah, losing 1 Sir. Still on that 5. Does he have +1 on these there? He does.
Yes.
Okay, so the 5 is still fine against unupgraded Scourge.
Yeah. Zealot's kind of out here to the left. I imagine he's going to keep them roaming and have a DT. Yeah, he's got a DT
Nice.
to defend the Hydra. So this is nice from DragOn. I expected him to kind of go for this. And you always want to have Zealots out on the map, kind of keeping the Zerg worried about threats, even if you don't actually commit to an attack. But it looks like he is actually going to pull the trigger on getting in here with the Zealots. And there's no Sunken, so this actually is pretty annoying for Eon, because he's going to lose some mining time, even if he doesn't lose that many drones.
Yeah, this is a really nice kind of sneak around that DragOn did, and eOnzErG had no idea it was coming. Gonna be able to clear this Overlord as well, which I think means we have no Overlord. Okay, well, a couple more do hatch. He does also have Overlord speed. So
Ooh.
he's gonna lose those Overlords, though. This DT is getting up here, and it's not gonna go down. Oh my god, it barely goes down as that Overlord dies.
Oh man, that would be so good if that DT didn't die. But it's still a lot of damage done to eOnzErG. Like, DragOn's got to be feeling very happy about the state of affairs going into the mid game. Like, eOnzErG hasn't really done any damage to him whatsoever, besides like maybe picking off that one Corsair, and has taken a lot of damage to his economy. And even though these Corsairs have been softened up, that doesn't really mean the end of the world. Like, they're going to recharge their shields. They can still one-shot Scourge and protect the High Templars against a Muta switch. Everything's looking pretty reasonable for DragOn.
Yeah, it's looking great for DragOn, I think, so far. I mean, he got to kill like 5 or 6 Overlords, so eOnzErG's been supply blocked for a bit. Finally, those extra Overlords are going to be hatching, so he can properly make some stuff. But yeah, no, this has been a fantastic start for DragOn. He did, like you said, keep all 5 of those alive, those Corsair, even though they get softened up a little bit. And you know, Eon has to continue to respect these Corsair, and this, I've talked about this quite often. This, to me, is what separates a lot of the better Protoss players, is their ability to continue getting value out of the Corsair. A bunch of Scourge are made here, and they're going to be able to chase this off. But even just making him make these Scourge is honestly a win for DragOn, because is going to lose a couple Corsair, which kind of sucks. I mean, you have to be a little bit careful of that Muta swap. But I was going to say, even forcing all these extra Scourge is nice, because that's eating into the potential Lurker count as well.
Yeah, cool. You're not just taking away the gas from the Zerg, you're also limiting how much lava they have total as well, if they were to want to make a round of drones or something like that. Looks like it is going to be Mutas. I was thinking like a Muta switch might be in the cards. And now that he's killed a couple of those Corsairs, it does seem like the obvious answer. And since he had the Corsairs alive already, he was very unlikely to make a Dark Archon behind this. So he probably definitely does have a timing to exploit with the Muta switch.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you see that many Scourge come out, it does kind of scream that they're wanting to go Muta, because they really, really want to kill those Corsair. So yeah, I think that does make sense that we see some Mutas popping. It is just going to be 3 Corsair, and it's got to be careful not to lose these, because they're going to be extremely important for keeping those Templar alive when those Muta come in.
Yeah. I mean, the Corsairs aren't going to kill the Mutas, but they're going to bruise them up, soften them up, so that things like Storms and Dragoons can finish them off.
Yeah. That being said, Eon does find an angle here with his Mutas, gets 2 Templar pick almost immediately, and this is kind of a big deal. We only have 2 Templar here on the backside. They do have pretty good energy, but I mean, yeah, one's going to go down, the second one's going to go down, and yeah, I mean, these Mutas have done their job, and he actually still gets to keep quite a few of them alive. This has been fantastic for eOnzErG. Everything was going so well for DragOn, and yeah, now all the Corsair go down as well. I mean, he's going to be able to clean up some of these Hydras, but yeah, this is so good for eOnzErG. He had a 4th base finishing behind this as well, John.
Yeah, and I love that he's not saturated it yet. Like, this is the crucial thing for Zerg. Like, you don't saturate your new expansions until you know you've stabilized, because you could just die to a counterattack from the Protoss. So he's really delaying making a round of drones to send over to that 4th base, because he knows that DragOn still has a timing. He could just pull the trigger on an all-in at any moment and try and run him over. So I love the patience of eOnzErG behind this.
I think Oya actually got a few wins off of Eon doing that even too, right? Like, he would have no Storm and just, he didn't care. Like, it was Zealot Goon, like, crushed through the army after, you know, losing his Templar. But once again, we see those Mutas coming here looking for that Templar. They are going to be able to pick it off. A lot of the Mutas, at least, are finally going to go down, but that doesn't mean there's no Storms in this army. And DragOn, he does have a big army, though, right? And this is part of it when you commit to those Mutas. It does eat into your Hydra count as well. Even though they trade really good against Zealot Goon and high numbers, he does not have that critical mass that he needs here.
Yeah, and I don't think he's making any lurkers behind this, so he needs to whittle down this Dragoon count now if he can. He's kind of forced to try to engage with the Protoss and see if he can at least control how big the head of the dragon is getting. But it doesn't look like he's successful in doing so. Dragon had a nice rally point of Zealots show up just as additional Hydras were brought to bear. Maybe he can get a few drones mining at this 4th base now, but it's actually not looking too bad for Dragon anymore. Like, I was a little bit worried for him just a few moments ago after the High Templars were sniped, but he's now kind of stabilized. He's getting a 4th base online. His army's still pretty good and scary. As long as he keeps replenishing those High Templars, this is very playable.
Yeah, I like this pullback from Dragon, actually, to not overcommit. We see a lot of that happen with Protoss players where they just kind of overdo it. It's going to lose a Templar here on the backside. But yeah, you'll see a lot of times where it's like Protoss will start to win a fight and they get... It's like their eyes get bigger than their stomach, you know, and they start going, and then the reinforcements just swallow the army up. So I think this pullback from Dragon was really smart while he replenishes that Templar count.
Yeah, well, he kind of needs to cover from counterattacks as well. Like a small squad of Hydras canceling this 4th base timing will take a lot of wind out of his sails and that kind of thing. So yeah, I really do like the conservative play here from Dragon. And he's actually finally gotten a supply disparity kind of reminiscent of like what a PvZ should be. Like before, eOnzErG was very close to mid-supply. That's a fantastic storm as well. Finally, eOnzErG with some lurkers in the center here. Not enough to completely hold off this army, though. Maybe Dragon could still break through this position. He's got a couple of observers, a few storms remaining, and just about enough dragoons as well to keep the fight going and constantly skirmish with the Zerg.
Yeah, pretty good storm dodging here on the second half of this fight from eOn. A lot of the goons also not participating. Dragon does notice that. He's getting pulled a little bit all over the place, but yeah, this is great trading from Dragon, and this is with a 4th base finishing up behind this as well for Dragon, which gives him access to that 3rd gas, and that's where it starts getting super scary for Zerg that is on layer tech.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact is that he's been able to circumnavigate needing to take that false high ground as a springboard, which like mines out in 5 minutes flat, that gas over there. So let's see if he can hold on to this game position and keep taking the fight to eOnzErG like this, because it's looking better and better. And it doesn't look like eOnzErG has an answer to this 4th base either. There's going to be a ton of cannons finishing up there soon. eOnzErG is going to be kind of forced to play a late game now. And he's more aggressively oriented. Yes, he can play macro games, but this is not going his way.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually talking to eOnzErG on a stream about this a few days ago, because we were talking a little bit about me maybe playing Zerg in the future, and he said something like, he's like, I can't wait until you experience the dread of when you find like you're stopping a base and then you look away for a couple of minutes and then there's a bunch of cannons up there and you can't do anything anymore. And we're in exactly the situation for eOn now, right? Like you get 5 or 6 cannons on that high ground and it becomes almost unbreakable for Zerg. It's a pain.
It's one of the strongest things about what Protoss, that one single probe can set up that much static defense. All right, well, eOn, little bit at risk of being broken here, but there's a nice staggering of these lurkers to hold the line. Dragoons are kind of dwindling. There's not a crazy critical mass, but these storms are pretty fantastic. eOnzErG not storm dodging as well as before. Maybe Dragon can still whittle him down there. It does look like Dragon is being capable of keeping the Zerg from ever reaching a big enough mass to overwhelm the Protoss, and you kind of do need to, at one point in the game, clear out the majority of the Protoss forces and kind of reset everything. He hasn't quite been able to do that. Like even now, after getting some good trades, eOn still can't kill absolutely everything.
Yeah, it does at least get a couple more Templar on the backside of that, but the goon count is looking pretty high. eOn did double expand behind that as well, so it's getting up to bases 5 and 6 potentially, which is kind of where he needs to be if he's going to try to match a 4-base Protoss. Like that's not him getting ahead, that's kind of him getting into an even game state. And yeah, he needs to be getting into that hive tech as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was literally just about to say, because you have a late hive, you have to play much wider as Zerg. Like maybe you can kind of get away with like being on even bases when you've already rushed into hive tech and you're just waiting for like your plague to come online. You've already got cracklings early and stuff like that. But when you're playing battle Zerg, you have to get so many more bases than the Protoss.
Yep. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit worried for eOnzErG just because of army composition. We are still in that lair tech. There's not even a very high lurker count, right? So this is where the Goon Storm combination starts to get super powerful against what eOn has.
Yeah. I mean, eOnzErG's doing a good job of like dancing around, like kind of fighting on multiple fronts to delay these advances from Dragon, but he needs a lot more lurkers with his standing army. Like every time he just finally finishes hatching out a few lurkers, he's already dried up on the Hydra, and he's never getting a significant army composition to actually thwart the attack here from DragOn. So it looks like DragOn should be able to kill this false high ground base at bare minimum.
Yeah, at the minimum, right? He's got in a position here. He's got a few Templars still up here as well for Storm, so going to be able to kill this off, and that's going to be a big win for DragOn. We've seen him now holding about a 50 supply lead, and yeah, I think this army, I mean, it's just going to trade really well on its own. I mean, Eon can't even dislodge this, not counting the reinforcements that are coming in with it as well, and he finally goes for disengage as these extra zealots come in, and it's not going to go well, I think, for Eon here. I mean, he is getting an okay trade, considering what little he has, but he just needs so much more than that.
Yeah, I love that DragOn's not slowing down. He's even taking that false high ground base as a fifth expansion and having as much of an insurance policy as possible, just in case somehow eOnzErG starts trading well again. But so far, this looks pretty fantastic for DragOn. And he just needs to make sure he doesn't bleed off too many units once the head of his army gets a little bit whittled down. And as you can see, even though like there's hardly any units remaining here for DragOn, he's still trading well with it.
Yeah, he's kind of caught in that position. This happens sometimes where it's like your army's not big enough to take an overwhelming fight with like the leftovers, but the reinforcements from the Zerg won't let you leave either. So you just kind of keep fighting until it all finally dies off.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. Well, eOnzErG's going to try and like get hyper aggressive and get a kill on this fifth expansion that's coming up for DragOn, but looks like DragOn might barely be able to hang on to that as well. So it's kind of unfortunate for eOnzErG because like he was doing pretty damn good with those high Templar snipes earlier on, and DragOn's just been fighting back so strong in this game, and eOnzErG hasn't even really been playing bad. Like he's been playing damn good. Like the high Templar snipes here, for example, the storm dodging, everything's been pretty top notch. But let's see if he can actually break through and kill this expansion. He's making good ground now. He's killed a lot of these high Templars off. DragOn's starting to dry up with his macro cycles and actually holding this off. Let's see if there's enough forces remaining for Eon to actually kill this Nexus.
It looks like the reinforcements, you know, the macro engineer from Eon actually kicking in. He's actually taking a supplied lead now, Jean, as he kills his base off. And yeah, I can't believe how well this is going for Eon. It's just the constant reinforcements, and he did pick off, you know, a lot of those Templar, like you point out, good storm dodging overall. That's a pretty good storm to clean up a lot of those Hydras, but it's after the base is dead, and you know, he's retaking that base that died behind this. DragOn doesn't have that critical mass army that you're afraid of anymore when you're on lair tech, where it's just like a ton of goons in storm, because he's been skirmishing so non-stop that DragOn's army, yeah, it's just not that death ball. We do see his main drying up, which means his natural's not going to be super far behind that either. So Eon is probably going to slow down some, but so is DragOn, right? DragOn's going to be on those two bases for now, which, you know, for Protoss, two bases fine in this matchup. As long as you're not getting too far behind an eco, but he does at least need at least one more base here pretty soon.
Yeah, well, there's going to be like at least 5 minutes or so where eOnzErG is on 4 base versus 2 base. That's not a bad place to be at all for Zerg. He's getting hyper aggressive as well, trying to run it down on this army, getting the lurkers pressed up into DragOn's face. Not a lot of storm here to respond immediately, but it might not matter. He's still trading pretty damn good. Hydra flank here to the right, not able to get the snipes on the Templars this time. So DragOn still fighting back strong in this game still.
Yeah, it does at least thwart that attempt there from Eon. Eon trades pretty decent. Not too terribly, you know, with that eco lead he has right now. And I guess the main thing is he's just leaning on DragOn right now, and DragOn is on a bit of a time where he's going to be feeling that kind of pressure because, like you said, it is going to be that 4 base eco here for eOnzErG, which, you know, it's not easy for DragOn. A DT is going to sneak up here and get a couple drone kills, or 1 kill. Yeah, I'm just going to pick off. Yeah, 2. Like
2.
A couple.
Right. You're worried you cast the cursor there for a second. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad forcing a little bit of lost mining time at this point in the game, although there is the base that's close to mining out, so it means that it's going to be online for just a few moments longer. Let's see, can DragOn actually get up onto this high ground here and storm everything as it comes up the ramp? He's not quite got purchase yet. He's kind of forced to stay and fight at the bottom, but he's doing a pretty good job of engaging the lurkers while the zealots are going to work in that base location off to the right hand side. Look at the Sauron-Zerg style of eOnzErG. He's just throwing everything at DragOn and seeing what sticks, but it looks like it's not working at the moment. DragOn is making progress The evacuation orders have been made to some of these drones to get out of here. And Archon raining down some havoc with the Sonic Shockwave on those evacuating drones as well. This is going really damn well for DragOn all at once.
Yeah, this is a huge win for DragOn. You see this a lot of times. So Zerg on the defense is usually very strong. You know, with like the different angles and stuff they can come in. But when you see Protoss get into this position where Zerg has to funnel into them with the goons and the storms, they just always get these really, really fantastic trades. And DragOn found a great angle, kind of punishing this right side base being so close to his home.
Yeah,
and yeah, he just swung the game back in his favor. And I feel like eOnzErG was pulling it back, and this has been a fantastic game, John. It's really seesawed like 3 or 4 times now.
It really has. Like, yeah, it has been kind of a hard game to call. Like, just when you think one guy's got it, the other one's fighting back. I mean, maybe there's a way of eOnzErG still navigating this into a victory. It's starting to look a little bit bleak. Unless these lurkers don't get dealt with efficiently, which it looks like they are. The Dragoons just standing and shooting as they come in, so they're actually not going to get a whole lot done. Oh, look at the drones in the mineral line as well. Yeah, it's looking better and better for DragOn. Should be a tap out. GG is called from eOnzErG, and a big win on the board here for DragOn, seizing tempo in this series. And I think that's his 2nd ever official victory over eOnzErG.
Man, what a first game of the day for these guys. That's a hard fought first game on both parts, right? This was so back and forth, and man, just the constant fighting and skirmishing and the counterattacks and multitasking both these players had to do. I mean, we'll call that a fantastic warm up for the series, I guess.
I mean, I don't know if it can get much better than that. I hope it does, because that would be an absolutely epic banger of a series. By the way, guys, we're going to be doing a little commercial break here. Since we've only got 5 games to play, we're going to squeeze a couple of ad breaks in just so they don't get ad breaks actually during the matches themselves. Yeah. So run to the bathroom, grab some water, grab some fruit, whatever you got to do, and join us for game number 2 between DragOn and eOnzErG. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back to the IPSL round of a DragOn versus eOnzErG. What a fantastic game number one between these two gamers, man. Really back and forth. Uh, I mean, eOnzErG didn't play bad. He was just doing a battle Zerg mode. He went up to 6 bases. He was kind of doing everything right. Maybe got a little bit too over eager with the aggression, and once the forces got whittled down enough, there was counterattack options back open again for DragOn, despite all the high Templar snipes and crazy shenanigans early game. But I'm just happy we had such a great start to the series.
Yeah, me too. I kind of regardless of what happens for the rest of the series. I mean, obviously you hope it continues like this, but
Hmm.
whenever you get to start a series off like this with a banger, it, it just kind of sets the tone usually for the rest of the series. But yeah, I'm hoping for more of that. I honestly I'm always I basically am never rooting for the favorite player. So I'm excited to see DragOn potentially pull this off. It doesn't matter what I think about anybody typically. If they're not expected to win, that's the guy I want to win. So
Hey, that's the British mindset. Actually, you might make a good Brit one day, Ozzy. If you want to come over the pond and come live over here, we love to root for an underdog. So I can get behind that sentiment. That's for damn sure.
it's good. Yeah, maybe someday. Probably not. Because we speak I you know, yeah. There's just the way you guys pronunciate some words. Like what is it?
Like
The way you
correctly,
guys
you mean?
say advertisement, you guys say advertisement. Do you ever say that?
This is the funny thing is like I don't speak proper English. Like I come from quite a rough area. I speak more slang English, so I actually
Gotcha.
would say advertisement. But yeah, that's also because I'm like talking to Americans online, so I don't speak proper English. To be fair.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's fair. So do you say aluminum then?
No, no, that's aluminium. Like that's literally spelt with the extra letters, like not like dumbed down so there's less syllables for you to wrap your little American mind around, Ozzy.
Okay, okay. Fair enough.
All right, well, looks like both players are getting ready here. eOnzErG versus DragOn in the round of a game number 2 on Octagon. Let's get it started.
All right, spawning here in the bottom right corner, hailing from Belgium, we have our white Zerg, eOnzErG.
Down here in the bottom left, with his hood up, 1-0 leading in the series from Canada, DragOn.
Wow, man, you know he lives in Canada when he's wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, it's pretty cold over there here.
Yeah, it's 32 here right now at noon. So
I guess it depends on what part of Canada you're actually in, but I don't think anyone actually lives in like the northern part of Canada, right? I think that's a bit uninhabited, but yeah, most places in Canada I hear gets pretty damn cold.
yeah, I lived on the west coast, in BC, which actually was pretty warm, kind of like how it is here in Alabama. Like the temperatures actually weren't too much lower than here in Alabama, crazily enough, but it was more of a humidity difference. It was like super dry there, whereas here it's really, really humid.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't like about the weather here over in Britbong land. It's like it doesn't really get that hot, like maybe 30, 35 C, but the
Yeah,
humidity is what kills you.
yeah. People that don't know, humidity is the real killer. It's not the temperature. I swear. Like when you go outside and it's like I can't walk from my house to the other house, which is probably less than like 100 feet or 200 feet, I would say, without like breaking out into a sweat. Like nothing's happening. I'm just walking, right?
Yeah, know exactly what you're talking about. And then you've got the added thing in Britain as well. It's like all of the houses are designed to keep heat in, and we
Yeah,
don't have AC in our houses, so you can't
yeah,
get
that's
away
crazy.
from the heat once it sets in.
Yeah, that's brutal. I've heard about that before several times, and I just can't imagine, right? Living,
Just,
being here in America and basically requiring AC to survive. I can't
yeah,
understand how you guys do it out there like that.
it is what it is, I guess. We'll just suck it up, stiff upper lip, and all that. By the
Yeah.
way, luckily for DragOn, getting the first scout again right off the bat, that's got to be a
Mhm.
feel good for him as well. It looks like a very similar build order this time around. No 9 pulls, no shenanigans. Literally just the same standard tried and true overpull build. It's one of my favorite openings in PVZ, I just don't think you can go wrong with it. It's kind of good against
Exactly.
everything.
Yeah, exactly. It does cover for literally everything, right? 12
Mm.
hatch has some pretty clear weaknesses. I mean, there's even against like gate expand, which a lot of players like to go gate expand against overpool. It's still like it's not like you're behind, right? That's like
Yeah,
maybe kind of like best case-ish scenario for Protoss, and it's like
right.
completely fine for Zerg.
Yeah, you should be fine. I mean, you're only losing out on a drone worth of economy pretty much by going hatch first, and then you're running the risk of like cannon rushes and
Yep.
all kinds of shenanigans just ruining your day. It's not usually worth it.
Yeah, I guess one win for Eon is that he got first scouted and then was allowed to throw his hatchery down pretty much on time. I would say that was maybe a small mistake from DragOn to allow that to happen.
He's killed the scouting probe as well, so like you could just throw down a Hydra down here.
Yeah, that's true. DragOn did not get that scouting info for as long as he did that first game, so that actually could be a potential problem for him here, depending on what eOnzErG wants to do. And this matchup, it's so much about information gathering for Protoss. I feel like.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And losing that first probe, I know when I play against a really good Zerg, when my probe would die really quickly, even with like my CV, if my CV dies quickly, I almost like want to quit the game, like because you just don't know what's coming anymore. And against good players, you really need to know what you're playing against, especially if they're better than you.
Yeah,
So.
I mean you kind of feel like you have to hedge your bets, like start cannons and then cancel them later and that kind of thing, and it just kind of makes all of your builds suboptimal. Or you could just roll the dice and hope you get lucky and you guess correctly, and then the times you guess wrong you're just screwed anyway. It doesn't feel good. And let's be honest, StarCraft is an information warfare style of game. It's not like chess where you can see the whole board, right? And in this matchup in particular, like it's a Zerg advantaged in that information warfare because of all these like early Overlord scouts, and you got fastlings to deny the scouting as well, and it just makes it really hard for Protoss. You kind of need to know what the Zerg is doing to be able to be optimal going into the mid game.
Yeah. Yeah, what you said about how players sometimes will just pick a build and hedge that they don't do something on the other side. I always like it whenever Protoss does the like 4-gate, 5-gate rush, like Mass Zealot build. I always call that the I call it the please don't go Muta build.
That makes a lot of sense.
It works sometimes too. I see a lot of Protosses win games, and it's just like, man, that was a dice roll, but GG, you got it done.
Hey, it's actually not that common though for the Zergs to rush straight into mutas though, right? Like
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I don't hate it. It's not a bad build, honestly. It works really well against anything that's not aligned to making mutas right away. So yeah, it's not terrible if you want to get high up on the ladder without really investing in learning the late game too much.
Yeah, there are ways to climb and be bad.
It certainly is. You'll always hit a wall though, right? Like you'll get to like low S-ish level and suddenly it's like, oh, I actually need to learn how to play the game again. Damn.
I think Jimin is the perfect example of that, to be honest with you. That guy hits 2300 consistently, and he basically cannot get better than that on his ladder experience because he doesn't know how to play outside of the single things that he's really good at.
Yeah, he does do those things well, but he's like a very timing oriented player, like executing things at a very specific time, and he's kind of stuck in his ways, right? So he's not able to like think on his feet and adapt on the fly.
Yep, pretty much. We've had another super standard opening so far between these two players. Pretty much identical to the first game so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very standard Protoss build, and eOnzErG's also doing stock standard Zerg macro stuff as well, so kind of does it like we're lining up for another banger of a macro game potentially.
I will say, usually you see that one safety can on the mineral line for Spire builds. Oh.
Ooh, we got a Corsair. That's actually quite huge.
I can't believe Eon went. Those Scourge are blind, by the way. Like, I don't know if he saw. Yeah, I don't know if he saw those Corsair before he went in, or if he's just like really banked on it. But he does get a Sair, which is a pretty big payoff.
Yeah, and he's already starting to switch into some mutas now as well. Hasn't got the third gas online just yet, so it's not like a super optimal timing to switch into mutas, but he can still gradually add on those mutalisks one by one. Putting on some pressure now is DragOn. Now the leg enhancements has kicked in. I think he's going to have a bit of a hard time because eOnzErG should be able to shut this attack down without really sustaining too much economic damage. I guess there's what, like 5 Hydras here at the third base. Maybe he can get a drone or 2.
Yeah,
Doesn't even want to do that.
sitting.
Yeah, it's tricky to attack into that. And oh no, this is the worst case scenario. He would have almost been better off just committing to the drones because this is not going to go so well for him.
That's a bit of a disaster for DragOn. I think he's killed like what, a handful of wings so far, and that's it for all of these zealots. And that makes his next push out unbelievably weak. And this also allows Eon to just walk across the map now, kind of for free, and maybe start setting up outside of DragOn's front.
But it goes back to what I was saying on Silvered, where you kind of want like a squad of zealots just existing out on the map to like keep Zerg worried about it, because if they know they don't need anything defending back at home, the amount of pressure they can commit to the Protoss is actually kind of insane. Right now, the only thing going for DragOn is that there's not a massive flock of mutas or Scourge to deal with the Corsairs, so he's still kind of parking some of his Hydras around the map to make sure his overlords don't get picked off. So that's buying DragOn a little bit of time, but it still kind of looks a little bit bleak.
Yeah, I agree. Very bleak. You know, lost a lot of those zealots, like we pointed out. Also lost another Corsair, putting him down to that 4 Corsair count. And 4 Corsair, unfortunately, do not stop Scourge from connecting. So eOnzErG, maybe going to be the... he's definitely the kind of player that could identify that and potentially pounce on top of these and clean this up. And we might just see a big Muta Hydra commitment here with these Corsair being so weakened.
What's interesting is it kind of seems like he was faking mutas. Like he made literally 1 mutalisk that I've seen, and it's been pure Hydra pump. So maybe he was trying to force a big response out of DragOn, but really he's actually not going to commit into those mutas and will just instead bank up for a massive squad of lurkers instead. We'll have to see. He could still pull the trigger on the muta switch and it would be great. Like he hasn't got a massive count of Corsairs here to defend these High Templars. I think mutas would still be fine, but who knows? Maybe he is actually going to do a huge switch into lurkers rather than commit into that.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see which it's going to be. If it is going to be the Hydra Lurker or Hydra Muta. That's pretty much the only 2 compositions you ever get out of that layer tech, so it's going to be one or the other.
That's true. This is like one of the few cases where Zerg is quite rigid. Unless you rush into Hive, this is kind of what you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, he is taking that 4th mineral only base behind a lot of this, and I mean right now eOnzErG is happy to sit back and build up a big army, and DragOn going to find a couple random overlords here on the map, which is a small victory. He's going to be pushing to this 3rd, but there are a lot of Hydras already set up here. Going to commit on top of these Hydras, which maybe we'll get a few, but these are going to trade out. I don't think this is going to be overall very good for DragOn.
No, this is way better for Eon. Yeah, I mean, if these Corsairs had killed like 3 overlords during that, it would be about even, and he's only going to kill 1, and the Corsairs are going to get cleaned up.
Oof. Yeah, they're pretty much all going to go down here, actually. And looks like Eon not quite watching with his Hydras there, but still 2 very, very low Corsair, and this does not bode well for DragOn. And we see a bunch of lurkers behind this. Okay, so we made the Scourge, and this time, instead of making mutas, we just went into lurkers. At least DragOn got information that all those were morphing right now, so he knows that's where the gas bank just went. So at least he knows that there just can't be a muta swap right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that gives you a little bit of a sigh of relief, but now we've got the arduous task of we need to expand and not die to a Zerg that's going to have almost as many lurkers as we have Dragoons. That's not a good feeling for Protoss. But obviously there's a chance that, you know, you just storm everything into oblivion before the lurkers can split and what have you, but he's just barely getting up onto this ridge line before DragOn can respond. This is unfortunate for DragOn. If he actually gotten himself up onto this ridge and denied this from occurring, this would actually not be too bad for DragOn. But now that eOnzErG is the one up here on the ridge with the spread of lurkers, this is going to make things so much more trickier for DragOn.
Yeah, it's a bit of a disaster for DragOn, actually. He's going to have to fight up this ramp like you're pointing out. And he also lost like a full energy Templar as well before anything even happened. So, yeah, this does not bode well for DragOn. Going to try and take this 3rd here at 9 o'clock, but it is at least going to be scouted there by the muta.
Yeah, just using that 1 single stray muta to scout around the map. While faking going for his. Oh, he pulls the trigger on another Templar snipe. Uh-oh, he's got 2 High Templars to break through a massive minefield of lurkers. He
man.
has got a lot of Dragoons, I guess, so maybe this is still doable, but I also only see 1 Observer. Luckily, there's no Overlord here to try and snipe that with a Scourge or something, or the Hydras. Maybe Dragon can still make some progress here. It doesn't look ideal. I guess he's getting a couple of 2-for-1 deals with these storms, with the lurkers not totally spread out, but either way, the trades don't feel that strong, even if you do get up here on the ridge.
Yeah, and a lot of free shots are going down before that Observer got into vision, so we do see Dragon at least starting to take this high ground back. He also has to worry about potential counterattacks there at the 9 o'clock while dealing with this, but he is at least going to reclaim this high ground. He cleared up a lot of these lurkers. Actually, I guess the Nexus didn't even start here like I thought it did, so...
Oof. He only just now put that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Like, yes, he's claimed the ridge, but at what cost? Like, he's literally lost most of his army. He's even on supply with the Zerg, which never bodes well for Protoss. And eOnzErG being ballsy, yet again expanding towards the Protoss here at the 6 o'clock. But I guess he kind of knows, as long as he keeps winning these trades, it's not really going to matter how close you are to the Protoss with your expansions. But we did see that get punished on Sylphid.
Yeah, we did for sure. So yeah, there's potential. I mean, if Dragon gets down into that 6 o'clock position with Storm and stuff, that bottleneck is not defendable for Zerg. So yeah, that might come into play later. We'll keep an eye on that. He does get a couple good trades. Finally, he's actually taking a supply lead now. He was behind and even for a little while. I mean, it's a very small supply lead, but it is something. Ooh. Potential big storm here, going to be a decent dodge from eOnzErG.
Yeah, if only he had like gotten like a slightly slower reaction out of eOnzErG, that storm would have been so lethal. But yeah, Eon's pretty on top with the dodging today, it seems. Gonna try and see if he can pick off a few of the stragglers before the reinforcements come in. Does get a temple. That's a pretty phenomenal storm, though. Kills like 5 Hydras and softens up a bunch more. Nice flank from Eon, though, keeping a few Hydras here to the south and target firing down some Dragoons and working away at the Templars constantly. I love this harassment guerrilla warfare style from eOnzErG. It is basically how you want to play CVP in the open field. It's just usually so damn hard to execute, but eOnzErG does pull it off. Now, though, this 6 o'clock base looking pretty exposed. Maybe Dragon can pounce on it while the iron's hot.
Yeah, he is going to get down there and be able to deny this base, which is going to be nice for him. We'll see how Eon wants to react, if he just wants to concede it or maybe go for a counter. But I do think defending it could be potentially a mistake. Looks like he might actually set up a bit of a flank maybe here. He's got these Hydras coming in from the backside to kind of trap them here at the 6 o'clock spawn. So I think that's going to be the play here for Eon.
Yeah, he might get a count. Oh, the Templars. Even losing just 2 of those will be so painful. Loses 1, can't quite pick off the other one. Good positioning here from Dragon. If he tacks up into the ramp, that's a great storm location as well, blanketing onto those Hydras. The army is kind of cut off from the base, but he's doing a good enough job at keeping Eon at bay so he can get this army back home to safety. And he killed the base, so little bit of glimmer of hope here for our Protoss. I mean, overall, the game state is still very Zerg favored, but this actually gives him some playability and a fighting chance, even if it is a low percentage.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Like you said, it is a little bit of a low percentage for Dragon, but it's winnable. We'll say that, right? It's winnable from here. He's got that 3rd gas on lawn. He can start to take this 4th base. If he can defend this 9 o'clock from this counterattack, then he's going to be in great shape. Is there a Templar there? No, it's just going to be the 4 cannons. And I don't think he knows that it's coming either, so this might get killed before he can react, Sean. And another attack on 6. This is tough.
This is really annoying because you kind of don't want to like give up this mineral only that you're just taking as well, but it looks like he might end up losing both, unfortunately. Yeah, he gets cancelled at this mineral only, and he's going to lose the Nexus here at the 9 o'clock. Man, eOnzErG, I guess he got a little bit annoyed after that game number 1. He's playing like such a gamer right now. Like, this is crazy multifaceted play, how he's able to like kind of see the big picture of the game and like execute things on different sides of the map simultaneously, like setting up like punch combinations that Dragon just doesn't have an answer for. And he's transitioned into Hive behind this.
The fascinating part to me about Eon is he's playing so fast right now. He's staying at 350 APM, and when you're watching the fights, if you're you see we're going back and forth, and it looks like eOnzErG is moving his army and controlling both fights at the same time, whereas DragOn's having a much harder time with it.
Yeah,
It's almost like when you play against AI, and it's like whatever you attack, that feels like that's what AI is looking at. That's what it feels like is happening with Eon.
yeah, no, it does. It's super impressive. I mean, maybe DragOn can fight up this ramp. Like theoretically, that would be great, but he just doesn't have enough units to do it. And these two lurkers, you just laying down so much damage with the subterranean spines, you can't really push into that. GG is called. DragOn's gonna tap out, and eOnzErG ties up this series 1 game apiece.
Yeah, yeah. That last push there from DragOn is we've seen it. If you're a Protoss player, you've experienced it plenty of times where it's like you're losing the game, but sometimes your army just finds a way to win, and you can do it on like no eco
Yeah,
basically. So
yeah.
I think it's always good to kind of go for those pushes when you feel like you're running out of steam. I've definitely had those games where I win where I'm literally not mining. I'm long distance mining a third base or something, rallying like 3 units at a time. We've had
You
those
just
wins
kind
before.
You're just like kind of hoping that there's a chance the stars align for a counterattack to actually work out. You see that in sports a lot, like you Americans call it soccer, but football, where like say you know there's a chance the ball might ricochet off the keeper or the crossbar or the post, so you run into the attacking position to account for that ricochet, so that just in the off chance it happens, you can actually still get a finish.
Yeah. Luck is a skill. If you watch Blue Lock, we learned all about it. If you guys are anime watchers. Um, but yeah, like you said, this is sometimes the stars align. Sometimes you might get those godlike storms and have crazy trades.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're going to be jumping right into our game number 3 here in the round of 8. DragOn versus eOnzErG. The map, it's going to be Attitude.
All right, spawning here in the top right corner, we have our blue Zerg from Belgium. We have eOnzErG.
And down here in the red, matching his hoodie, looking a little bit like a Sith Lord, representing Canada, DragOn.
Well, cross spawn attitude should be pretty normal. I talk about it all the time with the close spawns about the travel distance being surprisingly short, but we're not going to be experiencing that this game, so I will not do my rant. I caught a little bit of some people were making fun of me on Octagon about talking about the the way the ramp works like 6 times in a row, so I try to keep that to myself now.
Fair enough. But yeah, let's be honest though, it's a great map for Zerg, and the cross map is going to help out DragOn a little bit here.
Yeah, the win rate on this, at least the first few weeks, it was like 37% or something for Protoss in the first few weeks. It was not going well, PvZ.
Yeah, it's improved. I think it's like low 50s, 53, 54 for, I don't know, maybe, sorry. I think it's about 56 for Zerg, something like that.
Yeah, I figured that would happen. It's usually like that when new maps come out, right? Like it'll get really skewed one way because there's something a little bit different about it that people haven't picked up on yet. So in this case, it was that rush distance where you can't go 13-13 against Overpool because you'll actually die. And a lot of Protoss players didn't know that, understandably. So a lot of free losses were coming in. Plus, just the short rush distance in general can be kind of tough to deal with. But yeah, I think this will be decent for DragOn here. He's gonna get a relatively early scout. Is actually gonna threaten the cannon rush here, although that pylon it doesn't really work because the drone's already down here. So
yeah, he's got a second probe coming. Sometimes I've seen Protoss players pull it off with the second probe coming in, but so far great defense from eOnzErG, shutting that down with great control. Not really any wiggle room here for DragOn. He's just going to throw down the Nexus and call it a day. But yeah, I mean, this is the first game we've seen with eOnzErG mixing it up. He going for the hatchery first and avoids getting punished, and the cross map helps out a lot, not getting punished by a cannon rush. So a little bit of luck finally going eOnzErG's way with the early game. Like the first 2 games, DragOn first scouted him, so Yeah.
Yeah, saw a massive shake of the head there from DragOn. That probe went down, and Dragon can get a little bit tilty sometimes. I'll be honest with you. I half expected a GG when that probe died.
I would say I'd be a little bit too tilty. I know it's frustrating, but it's not like the game is over or anything. You just feel so unhappy about it.
Yeah, I mean it's rough. It's definitely rough. You delayed your Nexus for a long time in response to a 12 hatch. So you opened Forge, delayed Nexus, lost a probe after sending a second probe, had to cancel your pylon. So
Yeah,
we're definitely
would you
super far behind, but of course, you know, it doesn't mean it's over, like you said.
like on paper? Like, what would you say would be like the ratio of advantage? Like, is this like an 8-2 or like a 7-3 advantage in terms of how it's played out so far? I mean,
I would say somewhere between like maybe a little bit better than 7-3, but not by a lot.
no, like 6-5 to 3-5, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that assessment. That's basically the range I was thinking. Okay, quick layer here from Eon in the natural. No need to Hydra Bust or anything like that. When you're already in such a comfortable position, you've basically won the build order game. There's no pressure on you to do anything. You just need to play a tight game and not make any mistakes, and should be a relatively easy closure for you later on.
Yeah. A common mistake you'll see at a kind of lower level is when they get an advantage like this, they use that advantage to almost be like extra defensive to make sure they don't lose their advantage, and that's actually a way to like
That's
legitimately lose your advantage.
Yeah.
I think eOnzErG definitely at a level where we're not going to see that. He's not going to like be overly paranoid or something, or like try overly hard to hold on to his advantage. I think, like you said, you just play a normal game from here with that lead.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like going like CC first is Terran, and you're still doing the same build order, but you're just doing everything with better timings, and everything's just stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like he's catching the... Is that a Zealot or a probe at the 3 o'clock with the Lings? Yeah, Zealot. Okay, he's clearing that up. Pretty efficiently, actually. I don't think he's lost a single Ling.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Oof. And the second Zealot. Yeah, but there's already 4 Lings waiting. This is like one of those, oh god, moments. What do I even do now?
Okay, well, this is pretty much the opposite of what I was saying we would see from like a lower level player, which is that Dragon's actually the one trying to catch up, and it's getting worse for him, right? And even Lings got in? Wait, how did this happen?
Oh, I don't even know. He just ran by with those 6 Lings that killed the first Zealot, and a few of them died to the cannon, and 3 got in. Oh my gosh, he's denying gas being mined, Arzi, at 6 minutes. That's ridiculously high damage. Like, even if you only kill like 1 probe, the fact that you cut off a little bit of the gas taps for just a brief moment really does cripple the Protoss even more.
It does, yeah. Like I said, killed 1 probe, stopped the gas mining a little bit, forces a cannon, and then plus, you're reacting to all of this. I think we got 1 more probe. There we go. Man.
Savage.
Nothing going right for Dragon at all. This is just kind of a disaster for him. Does at least get across the map and see what he's up against. So sees these tracing his Corsair. But yeah, not looking great for Dragon. This has kind of been a disaster game for him from the beginning.
So one thing I'll say is, like, I can understand an early GG in games like this where it's more to protect your psychological state. Like, if you just play a game where you're getting ground down because there's nothing you can do because you're just behind in every metric of the game, like, that can really cripple your like psychological element going into the rest of the series, right? So sometimes you'll want to just tap out early to like not get overly frustrated with the situation, so you can think more clear-headed going forward.
Yeah, I think are we getting a Mutabomb build out at eOnzErG? This 3rd gas was pretty early.
It could, I would imagine so. Yeah, with the timing of the 3rd, I would imagine it would be a Muta style. Yeah, eOnzErG, as Tasteless would call it.
Yeah.
Get like 10, 11 mutas and like 12 plus Scourge, and just run it down. Even if they've got cannons in the mineral lines, the Scourge throwing out the Corsairs, and you should still be able to have a field day with them.
Yep. and now Dragon's gonna get the bad news with these Zealots gonna come out here and gonna start losing a bunch of these Zealots for free, which in the grand scheme of things might not matter, I guess, if you die to the mutas. But it still hurts if you do hold on there. But I mean, there's no cannon here in the natural jump.
Why is he running his Zealots back to his base if there's no cannon here? I kind of feel like you want to make the mutas chase you around the map rather than help them get closer and closer to attacking you. I don't think there's any hope of DragOn holding on here, unless he somehow splashes down all the Scourge and they bug out. Pretty good control of the Corsairs thus far, and eOnzErG hasn't pulled the trigger. Gets a little bit of tickle damage on the Scourge as well to make it easier to splash those down with the neutron flares, but as more and more mutas arrive, Eon's going to get aggressive again and swing back into the natural. Does get that splash kill on those Scourge, though, like I was anticipating. So actually, DragOn going to hold on here. And look at this chase damage onto the Mutalisks as well. DragOn, he's able to fight back strong, even from the jaws of defeat here.
That went so well for DragOn. You can't have hoped for more than that. It's unfortunate that he didn't quite get the chase micro correct, because if he clears all those mutas, it's actually so unbelievably good for him.
Yeah.
But still, they are very softened up. Do we have +1 air armor for eOnzErG yet?
No. Okay. Oh, only one. That's a little bit worse. The first Scourge connection was terrible, like all of those Scourge dying just for one Corsair, but he does catch quite a few more Corsairs with the remaining. But how do we defend against this attack? There's actually a very annoying attack since the mutas are so bruised. The Archon acts as perfect point defense against it. You have to target the Archon with the Sunken, but this is a little bit of a mistake from DragOn, leaving the Archon in the attacking path of that Sunken Conley for the entire fight. It would have been better to pull that Archon back manually during that fight so it could remain there to help deal with the Mutalisks coming in to clean this up later.
Yeah, it could have been controlled a little bit better. He's still chasing these mutas, which are finally going to turn around and try to fight a little bit here with these Hydra softening up these Corsair, but it's so crazy. It's so
like,
low.
Like 1 or 2 hits from the Corsairs and like most of those mutas were dead. It's kind of insane. He does get a lot of damage done at the 12 o'clock still, but I feel like this could have gone a lot better for DragOn. Like literally, if you just pull that Archon back for a few seconds, and suddenly it looks even better.
Yeah, because I don't know how much eOnzErG was really able to focus on that while he's trying to keep his mutas away from the Corsair as well. Yeah, so like a slight micro, a little bit of Archon control, and I do agree that that fight goes even better than it already did. But that was a good comeback attempt there from DragOn. It definitely evened the game out quite a bit. It went from looking kind of unplayable, and then this fight at the natural just went so well for him, and then DragOn pounced and got some damage done, and we may end up getting into a completely fine game right now. We got our Templars out and everything. Like, it's okay. He's still not in great shape, but it's okay.
Yeah, I would say after the muta chase and softening them up and actually denying some mining here at the 12 o'clock, it's kind of put him back in the game. It's still nowhere close to being even, but yeah, it's a non-zero chance still. He still has some room to breathe and maybe try and get this third base online and go forward from there. I guess eOnzErG did invest a lot into those early Mutalisks as well, so does take him a little bit of a time to macro up into a more typical mid-game army composition. Mutalisks are still alive, regenerating this HP though, so hopefully there's going to be an answer from DragOn somehow. Like just one surprise storm would finish most of these mutas off if he could get it.
Yeah, I kind of like DragOn's decision to go back up to 3 Corsair and replace a couple more, just because it was a pretty heavy muta commitment here from Eon, and I think that might actually end up working out in his favor. Kind of like we pointed out before, it's they still can't really defend themselves against the Scourge, but they'll get some pretty decent DPS on those mutas before they would go down.
Sure.
And they're just good for protecting, like with the goons and stuff here for this third base. DragOn did cancel it, and he's kind of delayed retaking it here a little bit, just wants to get a decent army out here to make sure it's safe before trying to go for this again.
Yeah, a few neutron flares splashing with the help and the storm chunking the HP down, and you got the dragoons to help finish off any singular mutas. It does help out in a big way at dealing with those kinds of guerrilla warfare style tactics. Looks like he's going to go back into the natural here with these Mutalisks, knowing that the Corsair count is low and there's not a lot of cannons back here as well. He's going to Try and see if he can get on top of the probes.
Oh.
Oh, he storms his own probes without even thinking about it. And unfortunately, all of the Corsairs go down to the Scourge, and the Mutas are still alive and going to come in and start picking up some of these High Templars as well in the round 2. Damn, Dragon. I'm not sure that was the right answer.
I don't know where we were looking either for those Mutas. You just, like, no reaction to those Mutas in his natural killing his Templar. But, man, he just lost, like, his entire mineral line. We're kind of doing a desperation push now, I feel like, with what just happened.
Yeah, this kind of feels like an all-in now from Dragon. Oh my god, he loses another High Templar that had plenty of energy as well. Can he actually break up the ramp here? If he had Lurker Aspect research, he could just like make Lurker Eggs on the ramp to really sandbag this. But I guess there's no Lurker Eggs on the ramp, so maybe there's a tiny hope for Dragon, but I don't think so. Like, there's so many units here over here on the right for eOnzErG that if Dragon were to commit to attacking that 12 o'clock, all of his army would probably be cut off and killed. Has got that third base to fall back on. He's going to try and throw down a fourth base here at the 6 o'clock as well. Hopefully at some point soon, maybe try and play. Yeah, he's got the probe coming over now. I anticipated that he would just try and sit back and double expand. It does seem like the only play you can go for at the moment.
Yeah, it was a rough sequence for Dragon. I guess the only thing, if you want to try to be positive about it, he actually still has an okay probe count, largely because his main was kind of mining out, so he's got to throw a lot out there. So
true.
Yeah, the timing of it could have been worse, I guess, if it was like a minute earlier. Then he's just dead. But we're gonna try to play it out from here. He is going down in supply now against eOnzErG, but that was such a bad sequence for him when we were kind of making a comeback, I feel like. And again, we're kind of in the same state, kind of from the beginning of the game, actually. It's been, well, he's not dead, but it's not looking good.
Just stopping it so pros again. Oh man, he does not care about his workers at all. They need to form a union or something. RZ, these working conditions are horrendous. Yeah, pretty much the entire mineral line dead yet again. I don't think that's sustainable damage now. I think that the writing is on the wall. Like, either Dragon just goes all in and tries to kill eOnzErG, or I think he's destined to lose this game at this point. He's just weathered so much economic damage back at home.
Yeah, I think we just go for it now. He's down 30 supply though, so it's not looking great for him, and he doesn't really have the eco to pump a lot of reinforcements. So yeah, this is kind of the last hurrah. Are we even looking? We do actually get one good storm here on the left side. Actually, a very good storm on the left side to start this off. But I'm just worried that the production from eOn's going to overwhelm him.
I think so, yeah. There was so many units off screen as well. That's a pretty monstrous storm, but with only 2 High Templars, there's not enough gas left in the tank to keep going. GG is called, and the Belgian Zerg, eOnzErG, taking a lead in the series here, 2-1.
Yeah, a bit rough for Dragon, you know, just kind of from beginning to end. And he almost made a comeback. That's
right.
These are the games that, okay, when I play League of Legends, all right, this is what it makes me feel like, because it's like the game was losing, but you start to get that hope, right? And that's what makes it that much worse when you finally do lose in the end, where it's like, I was playing from a deficit. I was like, this isn't really playable. Then you start winning, you're coming back, you're like, oh my god, we can win, we can do this. And then like one thing goes wrong, and all of that clawing you've been doing completely out the window now. It just feels so bad.
It really does, man. But he almost for a second looked like he was going to flip the script on eOnzErG. Like he whittled down the HP of the Scourge slightly, splashed them all down all at once, got almost the perfect chase micro on the mutas. If only he had been on top of that chase, probably might have been game-ending damage that he could have capitalized on. And the attack with the Archon as well, letting it die to the Sunken, didn't really pan out for him either. But it was so close to making that a much more playable game, guys. And the series does look pretty damn close overall. Like, these games are a little bit of nail biters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see how the rest of the series is going to conclude. But for the time being, we've got our final ad break of the series, guys, so that you don't get those ads during the actual games themselves. So quickly run to the bathroom, grab some water, grab some fruit, whatever you got to do, and come and join us for that game number 4, Dragon versus eOnzErG. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back to the IPSL round of a eOnzErG versus DragOn game number 4. Hope you guys are ready. We're jumping right into the action now on match point. Let's get it going.
Alright, finally, I get to introduce the Protoss player. Spawning here in the bottom left corner in green from Canada, we have DragOn.
And up here from Belgium, the white Zerg, eOnzErG.
What do you call him, Wise?
Well, I said the white Zerg, but yeah, he is the white Zerg as well, I guess. He's grinded enough games to be considered wise. Probably played more than just about anyone else in the foreigner scene. I would say he's a real grinder of a guy. In the back, in the history anyway. He doesn't play right this second a lot, but he used to play shit tons of games.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really play a lot back then, so I never really got to know the who's who very well. It's something that I kind of regret here now, looking back. I wish I'd been more involved from the beginning. I was just in my own world playing BGH, completely oblivious to like the fun part of StarCraft.
I mean, eOnzErG never used to be that strong of a player, and like a lot of people used to clown on him as well, and like talk smack about him, saying like, oh, he never pays attention to the mini-map. You can just fly a shuttle with high Templars in, he doesn't react. And he did kind of struggle for a long time, but he put in so much effort and was never disheartened, and gradually grew into such a beast of a player.
Yeah, that's crazy to imagine, because like I'm watching him now, right? And I see him like mid-game running 350 APM, talking about how feels like he's everywhere and always looking at everything. So yeah, you saying that's like so wild to me.
Yeah. Well, guys, while we're here, I'd just like to take a moment. If you guys can, please consider supporting what we do here at the IPSL and throw us some support. For example, for $10 a month, you get access to all of the replays from the tournament games, so you can study up and see exactly how they're executing these builds and emulate some of them for your ladder games and what have you. And we appreciate you helping us keep the lights on in the foreigner scene.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys, just going over and supporting on the Patreon and stuff. Like John said, it keeps the lights on, right? It allows us to keep putting these tournaments out for you guys. And, the only reason we've really been able to keep StarCraft alive is because of you guys and all the support and stuff that you guys have shown us. So really appreciate that. And yeah, strongly, just appreciate you guys continue to do that and allowing us to keep doing this. Because I love casting. Genuinely, I've found a love and passion for casting, and you guys supporting it kind of allows me to keep doing that as well. So yeah,
absolutely,
I really appreciate you guys.
Okay, so getting into this game, I love this from eOnzErG. Like, what you don't want to be relegated to having to take this mineral only as your third, because you're kind of forced into a Hydra-centric army composition. So usually, even at the pro gamer level, you'll see these guys try and take a fast third gas no matter what. Just because match point is such a hard map for ZVP late game, it's just so easy for the Protoss to split the map and kind of play a tug of war with you, where like they gradually grind you down. Like you'll never win that war of attrition if they do get onto even bases. So you kind of want to leapfrog straight into an early third gas, even if it's suboptimal locations.
Yeah, I like that he didn't take that mineral only after worrying about his natural getting blocked.
That's for sure.
Pretty good call from you. And like you said, the travel distance is pretty far, so the drone transfer does hurt a little bit. And we're gonna see how far this drone is having to go, like across the entire map to go mine. But sacrifices must be made.
The woods. Yeah, it's a long little travel here, but it's not the destination; it's the journey. Ozzy, I'm sure he enjoyed the scenic route.
Oh yeah, for sure. That drone's in great shape now, so it's good. Look, when I lived in Canada, I walked everywhere. I didn't have a car. I walked and jogged everywhere. I was in great shape. It's good for you.
Nice. Yeah, there's like people out there like going to the gym to get on a treadmill. It's like you've got a treadmill outside. It's called everywhere. That's not your house.
Yeah, it's called going to my job. That's my treadmill.
Yeah, touch grass, guys. It helps.
It's also, if you're doing that, guys, make sure you're late every time you leave to force yourself to run. This is also really important.
I think there's also like some weird psychology where like if you need to piss as well, like it helps you concentrate weirdly. So like if you're like needing to do something really important for a short period of time, needing to take a piss while you're doing it will make sure you do it damn efficiently and quickly.
Dude, that's why I never use the bathroom before I play StarCraft.
Just constantly needing to take a leak while you're microing. Damn, I better land these storms.
Yeah. That's funny. That's good.
All right, so let's see what these gamers have in store for us. Just a normal Forge expand here from DragOn and 3 base spire from eOnzErG. We kind of expect that when you're taking off like a really far away third gas. Like if you wanted to do a Hydra bust or something, you wouldn't bother taking this base all the way down here in the bottom right usually.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that is for sure. So yeah, it's going to be kind of the same opening. We do have this pocket second gateway here from DragOn.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, relatively kind of the same opening, more or less, all the games so far.
Yeah, I guess the Citadel's a teeny tiny bit earlier than you could have made it, but if you want to do the timing where you've got like you know, your flock of Corsairs and 6 Zealots moving across the map, and you want the +1 and leg enhancements to kind of finish up, you know, crisply just after 7 minutes, you kind of do have to throw down that Citadel a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm. Does that sunken mess up the top patch?
Technically not. Like you'll still mine it horizontally from the top side, but it does. Yeah. I think it does slightly affect the pathing a teeny tiny bit, but it's more or less the same.
Yeah, no, I
think it stops it from turning around instantly, but it kind of mines the same.
Yeah, I just had a moment where I forgot this hatchery on top, you know, functions as a hatchery. I guess my brain we checked out for a second.
Like if you really look at the drone, it looks like it kind of like hesitates as it grabs the mineral chunk before turning around. So it does slightly affect the mineral income, but then, oh my gosh, this is insane. He has got some Corsairs coming up here, but he's already taken a lot of damage, and he loses a Corsair as well. Uh-oh. Go on, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, I don't understand why DragOn, he doesn't like this natural cannon against Spyro.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
And this is the first time I like really got punished for it. I feel like he got away with it on attitude.
Yes.
But this time he really got punished.
I think eOnzErG realized that he made the mistake of like holding his fire too much and waiting for additional mutas. He doesn't need to. Just run straight in. If there's no cannon and you've got a pair of Scourge, you're probably going to have a good day no matter what. And he's still going to do the eOnzErG style. He just wanted a little bit of early damage to kick things off. And sniping a Corsair is going to make it that much harder to deal with the follow-up play once he does decide to be more aggressive with the Muta Scourge.
Yeah. Man, Brood War is so buggy. The way those are mining around that cannon at the natural is crazy. Look at, like, what is that?
I couldn't tell you, actually. Yeah, I know a lot about this game. That's one thing I cannot explain to you why they are doing that. That is crazy, yeah.
That's painful. That's like almost a half route every single time they come back.
They're almost like doing a waltz while they're mining, yeah. Maybe they did start a union, and one of their terms, well, you have to let us dance while we work for you.
Yeah, they might be trying to dodge storms right now, actually, is what's happening.
After that last game, I don't blame them, Arzu.
Alright, well, a few more Scourge do connect, but he does actually more or less win the fight here. Nice recognition there from eOnzErG, realizing that one of those Scourges is very low, or sorry, the Corsairs is going to pick that off. And now it's just 2 Scourge and an Archon, but we have a nice SimCity with 2 Sunkens behind those, so there is no way we're breaking through there.
That's a really tight defense, yeah. And having this base all the way down in the bottom right actually technically helps now. Although he killed his own Sunken, that might hurt a little bit. He has got another Sunken down to the south side of this base, but Yeah, it's gonna make it a little bit trickier to defend this without two Sunkens here as well. It does help that the Protoss had to travel so far to rotate down here, but yeah, I feel like DragOn actually might be able to do a decent amount of damage down here. Eventually, the Mutas will help clean up as well, but as long as he keeps this Archon healthy, notice he kept the Archon away from the Sunken this time around.
Yeah.
So he actually can use it for point defense and stopping the Mutalisks from trading too efficiently. And now the attack is working out much better. This is what I wanted to see from him on Octagon. And you can see like that level of thinking actually helps out so much, keep the tempo going your way.
I think he's just dead, John. Like, the base is dead. We lost all the drones. All the units have gone down. We got 2 mutas firing at the Zealots right now. But, I mean, look at the supply, right? DragOn's at 40 supply right now. And he just continued rallying more Zealots in here. And eventually, theoretically, this gets cleaned up. But, I mean, this hatchery is going to go down. This is crazy damage.
Yeah, I mean, even if he does kill all of these Zealots, the damage has already been done with the hatchery going down. He's target firing this other hatchery. I think that's a little bit of a mistake, personally. I feel like he should just trade units after getting the main hatchery down, because the only real way the Zerg can come back in the game is by, you know, having a critical mass of army to utilize. And as long as you stop that from occurring, it doesn't matter that they can kind of like long distance mine that base a little bit. But it's still great for DragOn, but it could have been way better.
100% agree. I was like loving it for DragOn, and now I just like it for DragOn. Yeah, I mean, he lost like 5 or 6 Zealots attacking that hatchery, which,
yeah,
like you said, I mean, just trading out, even just running home, like either trade against the army or even just run home at that point.
Either would have been better. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We're going to catch this DT here, and actually eOnzErG looking kind of okay on supply. So I guess he maybe had a bunch of idle lava that he could utilize, and he's kind of bounced back in a way. And there's no quick third base here from DragOn, so on paper this doesn't look too bad for eOnzErG. Bit of a missed opportunity there from DragOn to like really capitalize on that damage down in the bottom right. But it is what it is.
A lot less dead looking than I thought he was going to be.
Well, let's see. He's got 3 cannons here. It's going to help out a lot against this Muta Scourge attack. 2 cannons can still be overwhelmed, but 3 gets a little bit dicey for the Zerg, and especially with Dragoons rotating into support. So he wisely backs away from trying to be the aggressor for the time being. Might be a good time to think about taking a 4th base here for eOnzErG.
Yeah, I agree. Only a single cannon here, and it's not really near the mineral line, so I've just now started another cannon. But of course they're going to come up here, get a little bit of chip damage, kind of buy some time as well, right? Protecting the probe. Some good storm there as well, going to get those Scourge and soften up a couple more of those mutas. So overall, decent defense from DragOn. Does lose a few more probes, but definitely not the end of the world for him.
Oh, and he keeps the probe alive to go and take this 3rd base as well. That's always nice. It's kind of psychologically devastating when you have to keep sending out new workers to expand. And you know, eOnzErG, he's not actually yet thrown down a 4th base. So if DragOn can start this Nexus soon, doesn't look too dire for him. But the mutas are going to probably snipe this probe. Oh, the cancel.
Oh, no cancel. It goes down. Oof.
That's even worse than just sniping the probe, man. That's got to sting.
Yeah. Quite a bit.
Ooh, just 300 minerals down the drain.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that hurts for sure. But it's still okay. I mean, this is a lot of muta commitment from Eon. He's really been kind of liking this style here in this series.
Well, it's been pretty successful, you have to say, but there is a chance that Eon makes a big mistake as well. Like, he's relying so heavily on these mutas doing the heavy lifting that if he can't snipe a bunch of High Templars with them, maybe there's still hope for DragOn to just steamroll him at some point in this game.
Yeah, well, because, you know, if you're making these mutas, you're not making lurkers, and if you're not getting those Templar snipes, then you're just left with bare Hydra against, you know, Green Storm, which is not ideal.
Oh, we got a weird situation because the army of DragOn is making its way down to the bottom right corner, but the Muta Scourge is over here by the 3rd base of DragOn. And because eOnzErG's not going to get a cancel on that Nexus, this should probably work out better for DragOn as long as he can keep these High Templars protected as the mutas finally show up. Let's see if he can do a preemptive storm on these mutas as they come in or not. That's an okay storm, not the best. Does still start to pick off some of these High Templars. Gets 2 so far. Can he get a third? He storms his own High Templars, so technically killing 3 of these High Templars. Is there enough Hydras to clean up the remaining? That's a pretty monstrous storm on the Hydras here. With the 2 Sunkens doing a lot of heavy lifting in that Sim City, maybe eOnzErG can still hang on strong here and slowly whittle this army down with the Hydras from the rear, but he needs to buy time for more and more Hydras to pop out.
Yeah, so far it's been going pretty decent for Dragon. That one Templar surviving with 2 HP was a bit of a godsend, because if he doesn't get those 2 storms on the bottom side, I think he gets cleaned up really, really easily. So now he at least gets to trade out pretty efficiently. And even if he lost this army, I feel like this is more than good enough for Dragon. He's got that 3rd base mining, or sorry, the 3rd base is at least finished, and he's got that 4th base top left. And there's still no 4th for eOnzErG, so yeah, he's going to be able to deflect this now from Dragon, but Dragon is in a great position after this.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And like the fact that he's traded off so many units from eOnzErG, it's probably unlikely that eOnzErG has an answer to like just come across the map and kill the 3rd or the 4th anytime soon as well. So yeah, this doesn't look bad at all. And look how late the 4th base is from eOnzErG. Like he's actually in a little bit of trouble. Like he's not taking to Hive behind this. If he had Hive already done, maybe you can kind of like forgive the late 4th. But since he's basically been on BattleZerg mode, he's actually going to struggle a little bit, because around about the time he's starting to saturate this 4th base, his main is going to be close to mined out.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. And I mean, the nice thing for Dragon is his bases will be mining out soon, but he's got 2 bases to fall back on, right? So he's going to be mining exactly how he wants to be. The only difference really for Dragon is he's going to have more gas income than he has currently, which... Yeah, even though supply, again, I know we talk about supply quite often, it's just a good metric to get an idea of like more or less the game state. Even though supply is like relatively even, it doesn't look that bad for eOnzErG. I still think it's very heavily Dragon favored, because eOnzErG's on that timer right now, whereas Dragon can kind of sit back and defend, and he's just going to get further ahead.
By the way, what is this hatchery placement at the mineral only from eOnzErG? I guess he's planned on putting 2 hatcheries side by side, but he just has delayed sending the other drone over to make the other hatchery for a long time. Coming in here for another dive onto these High Templars. Hasn't killed a lot of them yet. Forced out a lot of storms. Is actually now killing another 2 High Templars and the Observer, so that's pretty good. Rotating here with another pack of Hydras to start assaulting this 4th base location, but Dragon already in position to respond actively to that. Doing a good job of keeping the Zerg at bay, although the supply is looking a little bit more dangerous for Dragon as time ticks on.
Yeah, Dragon holds on to the base, but that hurt a lot. He lost a lot of Templar at the end. Man, I've been there plenty of times before where it's like it's storming and not storming both feel bad. Where it's like either I can storm you and kill myself, or I can not storm you and watch all my Templar die. Like neither one feels good, right? So that was a bit painful for Dragon, and the solution to that is usually that Maelstrom. I'm surprised we're not seeing any Dark Archons against eOnzErG, who is really doing this Muta style, like leaning heavily into it every game.
Literally thinking the exact same thing Ozzy was going to say it myself if you didn't. I don't know why we've not seen a Dark Archon in this series yet. Maybe just Dragon doesn't like doing it. It's not in his style. Even though it has become a lot more popular in recent years, a lot of players haven't really adapted to that. This looks a little bit scary. 10 Mutalisks diving on this base with a bunch of Hydras. There's a High Templar here, but could be getting sniped off with a dive here as well from eOnzErG, and he does indeed pull the trigger on that. And now as the reinforcing army comes in, another High Templar falls for Dragon. That's a pretty good storm, but he's already lost so many High Templars in this game. One thing going for Dragon is going to be a little bit tricky for these Hydras to actually get down this ramp quickly. If he could rotate with a High Templar fast enough, might have been able to punish that, but couldn't quite get there in time, unfortunately. This isn't terrible for Dragon, I guess. Like, he's kept his Nexus alive. He's lost a bunch of High Templars, and he's not really in a comfortable position supply-wise. But the next thing that eOnzErG has to do is make sure that Dragon never gets another base in this game. Like, the win condition is just never letting Dragon have the 12 or the 6.
Yeah. Am I crazy? Isn't that hatchery, besides being off to the left, is it not also too high? Isn't it?
I think it might be. I think it might be. Yeah, it does look like it's 1 pixel. I looked at that on the mini-map and I was like, what is going on?
That's crazy. I'm not sure what happened to Eon there. But yeah, we saw those meters get remade, so he's still
This
gonna
is
have to worry
like
about that. And
this is like a campaign mission or something, is it?
okay, Eon
well.
is rotating a bunch of Hydras up here to the top left. Dragon does at least have some Zealots in position, does get a Storm out there to soften up some Hydras and clean that up as well. Another Templar as well below those cannons, in case it gets picked off. We're going to be pushing into this high ground here. There's a lot of Hydras up here, like a lot of Hydras.
Yeah, usually pure Hydra doesn't work out, but in conjunction with the Mutalisk, you know, sniping off that splash damage does pay dividends and keep your Hydra force relevant. Some pretty good storms are coming down here from Dragon, and since there are no lurkers, as long as he can get these storms off before all of his Dragoons whittle down, he would have had a fighting chance, but there's just too much here from eOnzErG, and the storms were not king enough, and unfortunately everything is going to die for Dragon. That could have been a GG moment. Dragon could have tapped out there, and that'd be actually a reasonable timing to give up, but you know, this is a big series. His tournament life is at stake. You can forgive him for wanting to stick this one out and try and keep going.
Yeah, that was too many Templar, which is not something you say very often. But once you start hitting like that 10+ mark, which I think we had like 13 or 14 or something, it's you can't control it. Exactly, it's just too much to control. You're better off making a couple Archons, and I'd even like to see an Archon or two, since we're not going for a Dark Archon, to at least help cover the Templar a little bit.
There is one exception to having too many High Templar. If you have them slightly spread out and you storm with them in a magic box, you can like storm multiple locations in the same pattern as they are in their formation. So you can like storm like 4 times at once and they're not stacked with the magic box. But that's really hard to actually execute well in a live game situation.
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times on accident, usually out of panic, and then I'll end up with like a good magic box storm. Like, oh man, I wish I did that on purpose, but
yeah, it's actually really fun to do, but it's not really what's the word for it, like viable in like a live game. Like you're just too busy doing other stuff usually.
Yeah, it can be hard to set up intentionally, but well, eOnzErG going to be threatening this top left base again. We do have still a ton of Templar that have been replaced, and a lot more storms going to rain down on top of the Zerg army. Not a whole lot of goons here for meat, though, for these Templar. And we're even killing a bunch of our own Templar with our storms because we're just scrambling so much, right? And I mean, it's going to be kind of a wash, I guess. Supply stays even. But I mean, this is so expensive, I feel like, for Dragon.
Yeah, well, I mean, eOnzErG doesn't have to kill these expansions, technically. He can just stop Dragon from expanding to the 12 or the 6, and that's a win. So even though he doesn't need to, he looks like he is still going to try and attack up here into this top left base because he feels like he's so far ahead. But this actually is a way that Dragon can come back in the game. If like eOnzErG throws away too many units trying to kill this base, actually Dragon has a shot.
That's a lot of Hydras that went down. We heard a couple Templar, I think, get sniped on the bottom side here on the reinforcements from these Hydras, and that's something that Eon, like you pointed out in the last game, he's so good at it. He constantly has these random hit squads and guerrilla kind of warfare style Hydras that are just always looking for picks, picking off goons, picking off Templar, storm dodging, that kind of thing like this, and he just gets so much value from hitting you from different angles with these small squads, and it's got to be frustrating to play against because you can never get that like head-on fight that you want to have when you're Protoss.
He does seem to be finding his flow state right now. He's almost double the APM of Dragon that was sitting at just over 400 a moment ago. Now just slightly tipping underneath that threshold. Kind of crazy to play at that speed this late into the game, man. Like you can't really spam when you're this deep into a game. So a lot of that is just raw mechanics. It's kind of impressive. Let's see if Dragon has any hope of attacking this base at the 6 o'clock. We haven't seen Lurker Tech yet. In theory, this might be doable for Dragon, but there's not enough storm with this army to trade super efficiently. I kind of feel like eOnzErG's about to swallow him whole here, potentially.
Yeah, eOnzErG's relentless, man. The way he trails these armies and constantly picks stuff off this whole game, and they're going to be able to get a good cleanup here. And yeah, man, I feel like this game was going Dragon's way for a long time, but just eOnzErG, he's so relentless. He just won't let you breathe.
I mean, you kind of do have to play like that at the highest level of StarCraft. Like, it's one thing to macro well, but to play great games of StarCraft, like, you want to grow while applying such insane pressure to your opponent. And that's one thing eOnzErG's really great at doing. And I think that can be attributed to a lot of his success in the scene. Weirdly, he doesn't have a lot of confidence in himself as a player despite his results. But yeah, as you can see, he's just too much for DragOn to handle, and DragOn's a PvZ specialist. Like, DragOn is not a bad player at all, especially in this matchup. So it's kind of insane that eOnzErG can kind of have a field day with him in this fashion.
Yeah. Yep. It is crazy that Eon is as good as he is, and he does have such low confidence. Because I mean, look at this guy. He's been 350 to 400 APM this entire series, basically. Like, the guy's moving so fast. He's fighting everywhere constantly. He's even got a ladder account, his main one that he's been playing on recently. It's called Super Garbage. Like, he just does not have that self-confidence. And I don't know why he doesn't have it. I feel like he's so good.
I think I'm going to steelman his opinion and say he's so good that he knows how good he could be. You know, like when you realize how many levels there are to StarCraft when you get to a certain point. Like, he's painfully aware that I might be able to beat all of these guys on the ladder and school them in these tournaments, but I'm nothing compared to the cream of the crop in StarCraft. I think that's more what it is. Like, he's comparing himself to the absolute best rather than the players at his level.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. And you actually see this quite often with really everything. I guess this is kind of where Dunning-Kruger comes in, right? The people that are typically good or know a lot about something, they also know what they don't know or what they're not good at. And
For sure.
That's where that lack of confidence comes from,
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's like that. I know enough to know I know nothing at all.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been admirable that DragOn's been able to fight back quite strong against eOnzErG, and this win that he has gotten over him, by the way, is quite literally his second ever official win, like outside of ladder games and, you know, custom games against eOnzErG. So still really impressive that DragOn's been able to play pretty good against eOnzErG today.
Yeah, he's holding on right now, for whatever that's worth. I mean, he's kind of juggled the supply slightly in his league. He's having to go really heavy into the Zealous now because 2 of his gases are mined out, so he's basically on 1.5 gas. So we're very, very Zealot heavy at the moment, which is working for now because of the lack of lurkers, but if eOnzErG identifies this and swaps over to some lurkers, then I don't really see how DragOn can fight his way out.
Yeah, I think sometimes players like Eon, you know, we all get a tendency to kind of tunnel vision a little bit. You know, you feel like you're playing so good, you don't need to make on-the-fly adjustments. So he might still just try and get this done with pure Hydra. So maybe there's a glimmer of hope here for DragOn. Like, a few good storms could completely turn things around, and maybe he can, you know, either kill the 6 o'clock or be able to secure the 12 o'clock for himself. It does look like it's possible with just the pure Hydra composition from eOnzErG. Like, there's definitely a window where DragOn could start to get some steam going of his own.
Yeah, and eOnzErG's not rich anymore by any means. He is just on that 2-base mining, and, you know, one of those 2 bases is questionable to call it a full base. So yeah, so it's not looking completely over for DragOn right now. I kind of was talking like the game was over earlier, but
I mean, it did look pretty brutal for DragOn, but yeah, I mean, the reality is that he's not mining optimally with that mineral only, and he's been quite stubborn with staying on the Hydra-centric force here, never getting into lurkers, which is a bit surprising since he's got so much gas banked up. Would be super easy for him to, like, quickly make like 8 to 10 lurkers and not really sweat it. But yeah, at the moment, there's a tiny window of opportunity for DragOn to exploit, but it's still a little bit challenging. Like, he's got to rotate all the way down into the 6 o'clock and try and squash this base, because taking the 12 o'clock and as an expansion is actually harder than killing the Zerg's expansion. So it's more likely he's going to come down here and try and get the win that way before thinking about the 12 o'clock. And it does look like it might be possible.
Yeah, if this base goes down, then Eon's kind of broke. DragOn does still have that top left that's mining pretty decently. You know, we see Eon trying to pull them apart everywhere, but there are a ton of Zealots here at this base down here. And
so many drones as well. There's like 30, 40 drones at this base.
You can see how dark that shadow is, right? That's like a 6 or 7 stack of drones right there.
That's how you can tell, like, how dense the muta packs are in ZVZ, by like how strong the shadows are under the mutas.
Alright, well, DragOn actually fighting his way back here. He's going to kill this base off, and that's going to put them both on essentially 1 base mining right now. And I mean, Eon's down to 50 supply. He is not looking to be in great shape anymore. There's still so many zealots on the map, Jun. That
Yeah. This is crazy. Like, like maybe this match point is already pretty brutal. Probes always win 1v1s against drones unless the drone gets a free hit off on the probe, by the way. So no hope for that drone there. But yeah, with the mineral only being off location like this has really hurt him. And mainly
yeah,
not switching into lurkers is what's
yeah.
crippling him at this point in the game. It just is what it is. And we're actually going to be seeing a game 5 as a result, it seems.
Yeah, I do think the lack of lurkers is really the big takeaway more than anything. He was floating like 1600 gas at one point as well while massing all these hydras, and yeah, these zealots gonna be able to work out for Dragon, and yeah, we're actually gonna get into game 5, which is awesome. This has been a fantastic series. These guys have been so back and forth. Pretty much every
Yeah.
single game actually has been a little bit hard to call at multiple points throughout the game.
Yeah, they really have. And always Zerg seem to underestimate what Protoss can do on like one base worth of mining. Like in
Yeah.
the late game scenario, you feel like, oh, the Protoss is gonna run out of steam any moment now. It's like, no, that guy's gonna keep churning out zealots, even if he only has got that one base barely hanging on.
Well, that's the thing is like when I if you could ask me what I thought the most efficient way of spending resources for our army would be, it would be Zealots and Templar. I don't
Yeah,
think there's
yeah.
anything in the game that is more efficient than Zealot Templar.
I think you might be right. It is crazy strong, especially when you're in this kind of map where it's like a force split scenario.
Yeah.
It just feels so bad for Zerg. Like you've got to keep one of these bases online and deny the Protoss from ever taking it just to be even, not even to be doing well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dragon's gonna stick it out, and I'm glad to see that he didn't GG at multiple points there where it looked really, really bad for him. He's gonna
Right.
fight it out, and he's gonna take this win back from eOnzErG and gonna bring it to a game 5 after another 31-minute banger between these two. This series has been everything you could hope for in a PvZ.
I mean, Dragon has won more against eOnzErG in this series alone than he's ever done in history. So this is definitely an impressive series to say the least. GG is called Dragon tying up this series, putting the series on match point for both players now after playing the map match point. And yeah, does that mean we're going to have Litmus as our decider map? That's not a great map for Zerg, you know.
No, it's not. These last two maps for ZVP is yeah less than ideal for eOnzErG. And you know what's really surprised me more than anything in the series is that Eon has played just normal Spire opening into Muta Hydra every game, which is just not when I think of eOnzErG, that's just like I know he can do it and he's very good at it, clearly. But like
Hmm.
I think of him being so much more aggressive and being more like tricky and low eco and stuff, but he's playing a lot of macro style today, which is
Yeah.
again very good at it, but it's just not what I think of when I think of Eon.
Yeah, I kind of would have liked him to mix it up a bit more. You know, like I would have loved to seen even just a fake Hydra bust or something. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
just to kind of throw Dragon off. And now, if he does kind of stick to his guns, Dragon's going to be able to metagame him more and more if he kind of doesn't want to choose that variety of build order. But Litmus is so tricky for Zerg. You kind of feel
It
like you
is.
have to
It
do
is.
something cheesy and mind gamey, and it's actually pretty easy for the Protoss to scout what you're doing and stop it.
That's that to me is what makes this map so hard for ZVP because playing a normal macro game is so difficult. And the reason for that, guys, is because Protoss gets a free 3 gas, and 3 gas is kind of like the nightmare for Zerg and going into mid game. And
Hmm.
Protoss gets it right out the gate, and there's nothing Zerg can do about it. So you see a lot of aggression. But the issue is kind of like what John is saying. A lot of the aggression on this map is pretty easy to figure out and spot. So a lot of times you see Zerg going for some sort of cheese or going for some sort of aggression, getting stuffed, and then they're just behind in a map that's already hard for them to begin with.
Yep, yep. And that's what's so hard. Like getting 3 gas on 2 base, like there's no pressure on Protoss to expand early,
Yeah,
and that's not a position you want to be in as Zerg. Like you need to force the Protoss out onto the map so you can drive wedges behind his army, so that you can, kind of skirmish with him before he's got too big of a unit composition that's like a death ball. And
yeah.
you just will never do that. He'll always have more Dragoons and Templars than usual. It looks like
Yeah.
both players are ready, guys. So we're going to be jumping right into this. Game number 5, the final game of this season here in the round of 8. IPSL, Eon versus DragOn on Litmus.
All right, guys, and here we go. The final game of the series. We have spawning here in the top right corner from Belgium. We have eOnzErG.
Down here in the bottom right. He's fought back strong in this series. Can he go the distance representing Canada? It's DragOn.
Man, what an exhausting series. Luckily for these guys, it's a best of 5 and not more than that, because these guys have been really fighting tooth and nail this whole time.
Yeah. Quite literally, DragOn has been like the Rocky of this series, and he's just like barely standing on his feet saying, I ain't hear no bell.
It's actually very true. Every game, right? Like, there's been so many times where he's looked dead in the water, but he just keeps fighting it out, and he's not giving up. And I'm so happy to see that from DragOn, that he's not, even though he does get a little emotional on camera sometimes. We see a lot of like head tilting and talking to himself and stuff when stuff goes wrong. But despite how much he might be feeling that, he is still fighting it out, and I'm really, really glad to see that from him, because he is showing us that he is absolutely a competitor.
Very commendable, and you do need to have that fighting spirit in a tournament setting. You can almost argue that like your mindset is either as important, or if not more important, than your actually ability to execute in the series.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Probably, well, because if your mindset's off, you can't even execute anyway, right? Like that's
true,
kind of what ends up happening.
Yeah, like you might win a game or two, but as soon as you get tilted, how do you pull it back? Doesn't matter if you're a god gamer, if you're a mess emotionally.
Trust me, I know.
I think we all do. I think like StarCraft's such a stressful game, you'd have to be like a psychopath not to be affected by it.
Yeah, very true. Yeah,
and
if you
even
guys
if
don't
you
get
were
mad, then there's something wrong with you.
And even if you were a psychopath, it'd be like such a hit to your ego when you lose. You still get mad anyway.
All right, gonna get that Forge 1313 here from DragOn to open up. Super standard, gonna be that overpull opening from eOnzErG. And I'm so curious to see if eOnzErG just continues to do what he's doing, or if he wants to mix it up on this map finally.
I mean, it's one of the worst maps to just try and play a normal game on. So if he's going to do anything, this might be the time to do it. I don't really want to see him get too tricky with like a lurker behind the mineral line type thing. I think that's too easy to scout. Maybe something
like it never
just
works.
Yeah, it almost never does unless the Protoss is just brain dead. I kind of feel like just a Hydra Bust or something a bit more traditionally aggressive might be the way to go. We'll see.
Something that I like to see on this map that I'm kind of surprised I didn't see it come out more, but it was the when they would go for a Hydra Bust, like a 973, but they would threaten the back door to force cannons on the backside and then just hit the front anyway. So
yeah, you can do that.
But I almost never saw it, but I saw it when I was watching Ranged play. He played against a Zerg that did this to him, and it looked almost impossible to hold, because it's like you just don't have the money to make the cannons on both sides like you need.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I would definitely like to see something like that for me on Zerg, like kind of mind game a more tricky, aggressive play, but actually just be running it down with a normal 973 timing. But he is going for that lair, so it does look like Eon just kind of sticking to his guns here. Could be his undoing though. Like this kind of plays into DragOn's hands, I would say.
Yeah, I think it does a little bit for sure. Yeah, we'll see how this gets navigated. The only thing that maybe worries me a little bit is for the last few games now we've seen DragOn skipping that cannon in the natural, and I'm always afraid I'm just gonna see that loss. You know, that loss that pops up when the Mutas fly in, you lose the Scourge or the Corsair right away to a couple Scourge, and then those losses are just, I would hate for something anticlimactic for that. I'm just praying we don't do that.
True. I mean, although to be fair to him, like he did suffer that on match point and still recovered. I mean, it did take him a long time to win, but he did still pull it out of the bag slowly but surely. Yeah, but it would be a bit of an anticlimactic finish if he just gets like bowled over by a little timing like that and he just GG's out. I'd be pretty salty.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we're gonna get the same thing we've got all series, at least here to start. It's funny though, we've had like a predictable opening and kind of like early mid game every game, but the series, despite that, has been a complete banger. Like I love that for this.
Yeah, sign that both of these guys are great competitors. Even if they are playing somewhat predictably, the game quickly develops into pure chaos once the fighting actually does start happening.
Yeah, and a lot of that I feel like is credit to eOnzErG, his ability to just do these multi-prong Hydra harasses, and the way he... I can't get over how good he is at tracking the armies and picking you apart.
Yes. It's not like StarCraft 2 where you have a select all army button. Like, you have to keep like a mental map of what you're doing at each different location with all your different little squads, and it's not even multitasking, right? It's task switching that's so hard because you're juggling so many different things and keeping all of the plates spinning while macroing back at home. You kind of have to be either a genius or someone that's just done it thousands of times, that you've just basically mastered the thing. And that's basically what eOn's done. He's not necessarily a genius player, but he's grinded so many games that it has become somewhat of a second nature to him.
Yeah. Well, this is perfect scouting information for DragOn. He confirms that there was like a single gas taken. He saw the Spire, sees the Hydra Den starting. I mean, he got everything that he needs to see right here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's all you need to do in ZVP. You just need to confirm what the Zerg is up to. Don't get blindsided by everything, and then you should be pretty solid for the mid game. Your biggest win percentage for Protoss is in that mid game. Yeah,
it's Muta. We got Muta coming. We only have 2 Corsair. We did make our safety cannon again, right? We'll see what these Mutas can get done here and how well DragOn defends this. But is that Muta or is it Scourge?
Check the main. It's just
okay, it's Scourge. Oh, he gets a Corsair though. Sorry, I thought that was the 5 Muta.
Crazy. Yeah, I think the 5 Muta would be slightly delayed. They take a little bit longer to build than Scourge. Yeah.
All right, well, yeah, gets a Corsair pick. That's a nice start here for eOnzErG. Is still only on that 2 gas though, so we're not looking at a bunch of Mutas or anything like that to punish that at least. And yeah, just gonna be Hydras like normal here. We are looking at 5 hatch Hydra production at the moment, so this actually is leaning a lot towards aggression.
Yeah, let's see if he wants to get a little bit more feisty with DragOn here and try and run it down. He's first going to have to deflect this Zealot leg enhancement timing, but he's got plenty of Ling Hydra to respond to this. And after he starts to clean up the Zealots, there's definitely a room for him to push across the map. DragOn actually has to keep these Zealots alive.
Should see cannons coming down.
Yeah, he needs to keep these Zealots alive, or eOnzErG could just run over him.
I think 5 hatch is so scary to play against. I died to it many times while I was like learning how you're supposed to respond to it. It feels bad to make so many cannons this late. Like, it feels like you shouldn't have to because your Templar are just about coming out. But you actually do need to make those safety cannons because you can easily die if they commit to that 5 hatch pressure.
Yeah, DT's a good response as well. Like, they won't have overload speed immediately, so sometimes the DT will buy you. Even sometimes just 5 seconds is all that matters. Like, just having a 5-second breathing room for like the cannons to finish up and the Templars to build some energy can be the difference maker here.
Yeah.
And is going to push back eOnzErG to delay the potential aggression here. But actually getting some good surface area with these Zealots. He's trading reasonably well. Eventually, eOnzErG will be able to beat back this army, but all the time that this is buying is so crucial.
Yeah, he picked out that Overlord. That was forward too as well for detecting this Overlord. That killed way more Hydras than I thought he was going to pick off. That was a great trade for DragOn.
Yeah. It's all about the surface area, right? Like, if you like slip the Zealots into the Hydra pack so that every Zealot can start doing damage at the same time, you tend to trade so much better. And especially if the Hydras are splitting their focus or not targeting individual Zealots down, and kills another Overlord so the DT can slip in to the 3rd base, killing a trio of drones, even a 4th. Things are coming up DragOn in a big way now.
This is going fantastic for DragOn, and this was already a lower eco build from eOnzErG than normal 6 hatch, right? So losing those few drones and getting that mining interrupted does hurt. We still only see the 2 gas from DragOn so far, but we're going to start getting into that Templar production soon, so I imagine that that or sorry, we already have. So I imagine we'll see that gas coming down because you don't really need to commit to zealots on this map as much because you have that extra gas. You can just kind of go into your mass goon Templar Deathball pretty early, and that's
Yep.
one of the things that makes this map so hard for Zerg.
Who knows though? Maybe DragOn will be a little bit stubborn and delay taking that gas. He just now threw down that third gas. It's actually a pretty good timing to take it. Right as he's going to be starting that Dragoon production. I think this is about as late as you can take it and still take full advantage of that third gas while applying so much pressure.
Exactly, John, exactly. That's kind of the thing, right? He did delay it a little bit more than you sometimes see, but it's because he's getting so much damage done with this squad that he's been moving out with, and that's a bunch more Overlords going down. We see some Scourge coming out to try to deflect these Corsair, but these Corsair are getting so much value. He does at least clean up all these Zealots, which is pretty nice for Eon, but he did take a fair amount of damage in the meantime. Another Overlord going to go down, and these Corsair are going to go home, and man, DragOn is just in complete control of this game. This is probably the most control I feel like we've seen him have this whole series.
Yep, and the fact that he's keeping the Corsair alive means the Muta switch is kind of out of the cards as well. Everything is just lining up perfectly for him. Oh my god, is he actually going to be eOnzErG? It's looking more and more likely as this game is starting to develop, and I wouldn't have thought that, honestly. Like, as much as I would love the underdog to win, like, I thought DragOn's chances of winning this series were actually somewhat slim.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. If I were a betting man, I would have put it on eOnzErG 1000%, right? As much as I, again, like you, wanted DragOn to win, I didn't actually think he would do it, but it's looking great for him so far. Game's not over yet by any means, but it's just a great position for DragOn. That third guy's up online. We see that goon count getting high. We see a lot of Templar coming out. Gonna be able to pick off another Overlord. We do have some Lurkers coming out. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, this is actually a lot better for Eon. Like, he's gotten way more Lurkers at a much earlier timing, and he's running out of a window to actually execute a contain. But he's found this niche little window where maybe he can just barely force some good trades with these Lurkers before the observers pop out. Let's see if it's enough to keep DragOn from just steamrolling him. I kind of still feel like DragOn should just be able to walk across the map pretty soon here, but I love this play from Eon to quickly try and set up a kind of haphazard contain to force a few good trades out before DragOn gets too big too quickly.
Yeah, the Observer does arrive though, and DragOn's going to be able to bust out of here. I feel like, are we missing a lot of our units? It feels like DragOn's army should be bigger than this.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got a few Dragoons kind of stuck in the main base here, I guess. One gateway's not rallied as well, so I guess that's hurting a little bit.
But you see that Dragoon count. Like, this is so many Dragoons, John. The Templar count's almost too low compared to the Dragoon count this time, whereas on match point, we're having an opposite problem.
Yeah, well, you usually want, like 2 groups of goons with, like, 4 to 6 Templar. 4 with your army, maybe 2 in reserve kind of thing. Roughly that amount. But with 3 gas, you could probably go all the way up to, like, 3 control groups worth of goons at almost similar timing.
Yeah. And he's taking this high ground here for his third base, and that's another one of those bases where once he gets up online and a few cannons up on there, it's extremely hard to break. And eOnzErG only on 3 bases himself still with this Nexus starting. Not looking good for him. Down 50 supply right now against the scary Deathball, and this is that army composition that you are terrified of as a layer tech Zerg.
100%. This is so frustrating. You need like 12 Lurkers just to feel like you have a chance at stopping it. Not even to deal with it optimally. He just doesn't have it. He's bleeding dry right now, has almost nothing to stop DragOn at all. DragOn is on the cusp of victory, starting to lay siege to the Zerg. A few Lurkers popping out, but there's not even any Sunkens in this Sim City. Nothing to sandbag the advance of these Dragoons, acting like siege tanks right now, just killing all of the Zerg units as they pop out before they can actually muster into a somewhat affected squad to start combating against this. It doesn't look like eOnzErG has an answer, Ozzy.
No, it doesn't. He's getting dwarfed in supply now compared to DragOn here. And yeah, these guns going to push him to natural. You see this massive rally of army coming across the map as well. It does not get any easier for eOnzErG. And yeah, he's just going to have to deal with the Protoss form as a Zerg player at this point, and I just don't think he has it in him. Yeah, GG going to be called, and a crazy, I'm going to call it a massive upset. Look how happy DragOn is to take out eOnzErG. Good for him.
That is crazy. Oh my gosh. To put that in perspective, guys, historically speaking, DragOn has won 1 single game against eOnzErG in official matches, and Eon has basically won everything else. I can't remember if it was like 7-1 or 9-1 in terms of wins to losses between them, but a crazy disparity that DragOn has overcome here today winning 3 games to 2. And honestly, one of the most nail-biting best-of-5 series, or any series we've seen in the IPSL in a very long time. Big props and massive congratulations to DragOn for pulling that one out.
Yeah, what a sick series. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy to see him happy. Love seeing that for the underdog. So yeah, we are gonna get DragOn in here for the interview, so we'll get to hear what he has to say about that series. And yeah, good for him, man. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, yeah. I've not even got loads of questions for him. I just want to say
Yeah.
congratulations because that series was sick. Oh my days.
Yeah, yeah, there's not a whole lot to really ask about. They did the same thing all 5 games, more or less, but yeah, it's more just yeah, what a grind. What a grind of a series.
I want to know what he's thinking and feeling after that. Yeah, that must be a massive confidence boost.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Just
for
waiting
sure.
for DragOn to hop into the Discord and see what the man of the hour thinks about this absolute triumphant victory, man. Like Eons are quite literally the best Zerg in the scene outside of China. And yeah, honestly, can hold a candle to a lot of the other Chinese Zergs as well. Maybe not Zhao Zhui, but he's such a scary Zerg. And
Yeah.
Eon wasn't playing bad today. He made a few mistakes. Like, you know, hey, welcome, DragOn. How are you feeling after that great victory against eOnzErG, man?
Hey man, feeling great. Pretty relieved, honestly. I thought I was not gonna win that series.
Yeah, it looks like you were almost out on match point, right? Like you were really up against it, especially with the early game, like getting punished in the natural with the Corsair snipe and losing a few probes. And I think even your cannon in the natural was like glitching out some of your probe mining. Like everything seemed to be starting off bad for you going into that match point game, but you held on strong. And it is a great map for Protoss if you can force the battle of attrition. So I'm so happy you didn't GG out and give up mentally. I really like your fighting spirit. It didn't seem like, despite how frustrating some of the games were going for you, it never seemed like you were actually tilting as much as you usually do.
As much as I usually do. Ouch, man.
I just call it how I see it, buddy. Don't take offense.
All right. I mean, I guess a lot of times if I have the cam on, it looks like I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
But I can still play pretty well regardless of how I feel about my play. I guess like going forward. Match point, I made a lot of mistakes, but I think I took out his third pretty early, or at least like I took out the main hatchery there and did a lot of damage. So
Right.
I was ahead for a lot of the game there, and I think he like almost made a comeback, and then I think he might have been ahead after I kind of threw away like 10 tumblers in the
Yeah.
center.
Yeah.
And then I made a comeback after his comeback, so it was pretty cool. But I think if like the map kind of helped me out and it kind of hindered me at the same time because obviously match point, if Protoss splits map, then I win. But
Correct.
at the
Yeah.
same time, that high ground above my third is super hard to hold, and if he's also pressuring the fourth on the other side as well. And Eon is like a really fast mechanical player. Like he's
Oh
faster
yeah.
than me, and I was having trouble keeping up with his speed in the series. So it was difficult to close it out after that, but I managed it. I think having 3+ armor in that game really helped me. I'm pretty sure he didn't have hive. I didn't scout for sure, but like based on his unit composition and how the game was going, I don't think he made a hive. He was stuck
No.
on 2+ missile attack on hydras. So I think the armor was like the main thing that allowed me to make a comeback there at the end.
Yeah, I
If
think
he
he only went hive one of the games. I think he was pretty much battle Zerg every other time.
Okay. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I was really impressed. Like even on attitude, like that game went pretty badly for you as well. But I love that you just didn't give up. Like I want to ask you, like, what's the thought process about skipping over the cannon in the natural mineral line when you know he's opening up lair and you know he's an aggressive player? Like, are you trying to be greedy with that, or do you just like forget that? Oh, I need to make that cannon, or what's the reason that you're not making that natural cannon as often?
You mean against Midas or against Hydras? I'm not sure
Against Mutas, like when you scout that he's doing a 3 base spire and you're skipping over the
Oh,
natural
well,
cannon.
I always make the extra cannon there if I see he goes meters, but in the attitude game he killed that cannon several times in the game, and after
Yeah.
I lost my Corsairs at some point, and then he just kept remaking mutas, and then you can't really defend a base with one cannon versus a whole group of mutas, so
Yeah, not
there's
really.
too little.
I wanted to ask why you are opposed to the Dark Archon. I feel like match point was one of those, that game especially, where I thought for sure we would see a Dark Archon because you just kept making mutas the whole series or the whole
Okay.
game really. So yeah,
Dark Archon is good if you have time to get to it, but in that game, I think I just didn't have enough time. Like if I had waited and spent that gas, like each 300 each 300 gas is extremely important when you're in that situation. You need to spend everything on Templars to not die. So I think if I had made a Dark Archon when I was struggling to defend my third and fourth,
yeah.
I would have just died because I needed every storm possible. Although, like, if he had given me time to axe and group up, then yeah, a Dark Archon would have been better in that situation for sure. I didn't have time to tech out to it.
I got you. Makes sense. Well, that was an awesome series, Dragon. I'm super happy that you took out Eon. You were definitely considered the underdog coming to this, and
Yeah.
you had a grind of a series. I mean, you guys really like fought it out there tooth and nail, like I said earlier, and yeah, really, really cool to see you come out on top. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, major props to you. I was rooting for you as the underdog as well. Super stoked that you won. I think I looked up your match history. I think you were like 1 loss, 9 wins or something to eOnzErG. It was like really crazy against you going into this. So that must be a tremendous confidence boost for you. I hope that you're going to be fighting strong throughout the remainder of the tournament, and it'll be so cool to see you get really deep.
Thank you. Yeah, I think my record against Ian is a little bit better than that. I don't know where
Oh,
you're
those
getting
just
these
those are just
stats from.
official games. Those are just like BSL games, IPSL games. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I played Ian a lot, but not like in the last couple of years, but like 4 or 5 years ago maybe. I played him a decent amount, and I did all right back then. So just lately, I lost to him in BSL last season, and IPSL also last season. So yeah, recently he's been smacking me. So it's
Yeah.
good to get this win.
It's possible the wiki page just hasn't included all the games you played against him. That's also possible, yeah.
Right.
Well, big respect to you today, man. You played a great series. Thank you for entertaining us, and look forward to seeing more great games from you further into the tournament.
Yeah.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
GG's.
Thanks.
GG's.
All right, guys, that was DragOn. Heard it from the man himself. And now that we're getting wrapped up, we can talk a little bit more about the support for the channel. If you guys do want to consider investing a little bit in some merch as well, there's some great merch in the store for IPSL. None of that crazy, crappy stuff that'll fade in the wash. It's like hand stitched on. It's nice. It's nice stuff. And if Arn wants to, he can quickly jump in and talk a little bit about what you guys can do to support specifically.
Well, I mean, if you insist, I'm sure I can. Guys, anything you give, it helps put on these tournaments. It helps do things like have awesome casters like these two that love talking about StarCraft. We have the players that get paid. We have CS LAN coming up in August, guys. Get your ticket. It's gonna be a great time. We already have several high-level players confirmed. Several more are just dragging their feet because the StarCraft community is the kind that waits till the last minute, but that's normal. But it's going to be a great time, guys. You can't beat StarCraft in person. And helping support the league allows us to do fun stuff like that, guys. So thank you. And I hope to see you all there. And thank you both again for casting.
Our pleasure. It's always great to be here. I do enjoy casting beside Ozzy the Hockey. Always a good time. And we got more great games coming up for you as well. Is it JD Conan and Rhett we have tomorrow, just to confirm? Yeah. That's going to be a banger of a series. Kind of feeling like JD Conan's going to take that just because it's Rhett's worst matchup. But Rhett is such a godly gamer. It's going to be fun to cast some of his games regardless. Hope you guys will be enjoying that series. And hopefully it goes the distance. I really hope it's not going to be like a 3-0 from JD or something. I don't think it will. But yeah, anything to say, Ozzy?
Yeah, not really. I'm looking forward to watching the match tomorrow. I got my eyes on Red. I think Red's such a cool guy too. Jetty Conan as well. They're both nice guys.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on that series. I'm pretty interested in that. But yeah, that'll pretty much do it for us here today, I think. So awesome series today. I could not have asked for a better series.
Yeah, that quite possibly might be one of the best round of 8 series that we have in the IPSL. Maybe Dwalt and Bonif will also be an absolute banger, but it's going to be a hard contest now. These guys have set such a high standard
I know.
for the rest of the players.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream and I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks so much,
Peace.
guys. See you there.